Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tag Out Podcast. My name is AJ East Coast, and I am your host.
And it's me, it's JeremyAT, and I'm the co-host with the most.
Co-host.
Hey, how'd you like that?
I liked that one, co-host with the most. Little throwback there. Throwback to, who are you referring back to? Are you referring back to Sting, or not Sting, DDP when you do that? Or are you referring back to DX?
Good evening. It's whatever you make it. DDP first. Of course, it's me is the DDP.
That's right.
But then co-host with the most was actually my idea. So I'm putting myself over for that one.
Yeah, put yourself over.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Well, as you see, sorry, moving the lights here. It's a little too bright in my face. Real quick.
Okay.
Just 1 second, guys. My bad. I didn't realize the glare, fellas, was coming through.
See? There. That's what happens when you're unprepared on a Friday.
All right, there we go. Much better now. I can see myself as we keep it low here in the galaxy.
Hey, that's nice lighting you got there, though, too.
Thank you.
I like that pink ambiance. Very relaxing.
Yeah, the purple, the pink, and the galaxy.
Yeah. Very nice color scheme.
Yeah, thank you. Well, as we get started tonight, Mr. Jeremy, we're going to talk Raw, AEW, NXT, and SmackDown, as you guys see here in the middle. So we kind of planning now this little schedule out. We're going to do, the 2 shows every week. We'll do this one where we review the week in review. So how we're going to do this one is... And then we will do the Saturday show will be something like a certain topic that we'll do. Next week we're going to do the John Cena and Randy Orton story. I'm going to watch pretty much every episode between them. Every match I can see, pretty much everything I can think about I'm going to watch. Continuing to going. And then I think tomorrow night we'd agreed on the women's division. Is that correct?
Yes, we'll be discussing the women's division in WWE, NXT, and AEW, and other places too, and the women's division as a whole as well. So.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. But yeah, as Sarah369 there says, learning gaming at Full Sail, not Show Pro. Yeah, sorry, gotta adjust the lighting and whatnot. But yeah, I like doing this from home though. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do, and I'm glad we finally got together to do this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, guys, every week we'll try and bring a good topic in a week in review. If not, definitely the week in review will happen. And
if you guys have anything you want us to talk about, we can definitely do it.
Yeah, please send us a whisper here, or send us a message, either Jeremy or myself on Instagram. You can follow us here and let us know if there's a certain topic you want to talk about. If anything from if you guys listen to our first podcast, which I'm working on putting up on Apple and stuff soon. If you guys listen to our first one on Instagram and on Twitch and everything for right now, we went through the whole year of 2020, so we went through a lot of topics. We touched on a lot, but there's anything you want us to dive in deeper, which is what we're going to do with the Orton Cena story next week. And I guess the women's division, because we did touch on the sexist topics a little bit when we went through The Fiend. We talked about the sexism that happened there, so I think we're going to explore a lot of that tomorrow. But yeah, definitely you guys check out The Fiend one, man. I really hope that Bray sees that one day, because that was such a good discussion that we talked about The Fiend.
It was a really good 2.5-hour discussion about probably, like I said, one of the best characters to come out in a very long time.
Yeah.
So please listen to that episode. It's wonderful. Great discussion.
Well, so should we get started with Monday Night Raw tonight?
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Fuck me, dude. Raw was such a... thank you so much for that comment, Sarah. She says, it goes well with your AJ graphics. It's perfect. Yeah, that's how I was trying to keep it, the pink and purple in the galaxy here, like you see my logo. But yeah, Monday Night Raw was such a fucking train wreck, dude. If there is any time to get rid of the third hour, it's now. The third hour needs to go. It's dreadful. It's dreadful. And yes, our news is that our champion, our world champion, is not, well, sick with the Rona, but he's okay. Obviously, he's okay. But he is positive. And it seems like they are going ahead with the match with him and Goldberg. Fuck that. And then, but he was not present at this Monday Night Raw because of him testing positive. And because of that, they had that impromptu main event for about 5 seconds with Triple H and Randy Orton. Come the fuck on. Are you serious, Jeremy? That's what they wanted to do here?
I laughed so hard.
Goodness gracious.
That was so unnecessary to bring Triple H. Triple H would have been just good coming back and saying hello.
Leave him alone. Triple H has things to do. He has things to do at Full Sail. He has things to do at NXT. He's busy. Leave him the fuck alone.
Exactly. I mean, I think that was a wasted plane ride or car ride down to Tampa, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But I think it was a waste of television time. I think it was a waste of air time to bring Triple H. I think they were just trying to bring the allure back.
Yeah.
You know, because they were supposed to have Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, but they had to bring someone big in, you know, to fill that void. I mean, there was a big void. Without Drew McIntyre, your world champion there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a void.
And they did rely a little bit too much on that ratings draw, like you said, the appeal of Orton versus HHH. But this isn't 2004 to 2006. No offense to two of them, but we don't need to see that right now at 2021. And for that 10 seconds that you guys had, what was it? How long did they go? Like 3 minutes ish?
It was quick. All I can say, it was quick. But I had a feeling that they weren't going to go through with a full. You were going to see Triple H in full wrestling gear.
Right.
You know,
right. He's too old for that. First of all,
I said, I was like, I don't think it's possible. I think he's just going to be, you know, it's going to be a different type of match. It's probably going to go in probably a few minutes, not too long, and then someone's going to come in and interfere or something, you know. But Triple H really has no business being in the ring right now.
No, he does not.
It just didn't make all the sense to me that, you know, I get Drew and Randy were supposed to wrestle, but, you know, having Triple H in there, it muddled things.
I know we jumped right ahead to the main event, but the only positive thing that came out of this is if you go back and watch the footage, I think especially on their YouTube right now, they do highlight some of the promo between them, and this does kind of tick a little bit in the tick that box off in the story between Orton, Cena, Triple H, Flair, who is, you know, the most times world champion. That does, you know, it nudged the story a little bit in that direction that Orton is heading towards Cena's record, because he did mention being champion again, and then mentioning how that he's surpassed Hunter, and that he's not as good as Flair, and that so he's alluding towards a possibility that one day we might, you know, there might be some time in the near future, but not right away, that we might see Cena versus Orton for really the undisputed of all time. At that point,
exactly.
17. Who is 17? Yeah.
It will take place at a WrestleMania. There's no other place that it can't take place. I mean,
grown men will cry at that match.
Grown men will cry. You and I will probably shed a few tears, you know, because we grew up with these guys.
Literally, we grew up with these guys. Watched them forever.
Yeah, exactly. But
well, we'll talk more about that on the Cena Orton story. Yeah.
Next week, that will tie in. I think that will kind of tie things up.
Yeah.
But you do have a great point on that one. I just think that WWE just doesn't know how to, you know, switch hats. You know, that's the tough part, you know.
No, they don't.
It's just whenever something catastrophic happens, it seems like, ooh, let's get this guy and let's get some, you know, eyes on the TV, when it really doesn't work.
Who, you know, what happened to, so they had the opportunity here to do a different main event than what they had, because, well, I guess we'll talk actually how they went off air later, but they had a different opportunity to do something a little bit crazier, or do something that they used to do, like put over a younger wrestler or put on a good show, give people their money's worth, and at this point give people their entertainment and their viewership's worth, because they're not paying for anything, and you're at home and you're giving WWE your time when everyone's at home and there's other things that you could be doing. So, you know, you would think that you'd want some kind of entertainment. So what happened to WWE when they used to do those impromptu matches, you know, like the on-the-spot matches due to whatever, you know? Do you remember...
Unfortunately, there's a...
Do you remember a couple years ago, they went to India and they came home and a lot of them caught some kind of virus. They were sick for a while. Reigns was sick. Wyatt was sick. And it was supposed...
That was TLC.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be Wyatt versus Reigns. Or not Wyatt, Wyatt versus the Demon King.
It was supposed to be Sister Abigail.
Yeah, Sister Abigail versus the Demon King.
Thank God. If anything you can thank God for.
It wasn't it was a blessing, yeah. Because that didn't happen. That would have been goofy.
That match didn't happen.
Yeah.
I was so glad that didn't happen.
But instead,
anyway.
we got a fucking banger instead, with AJ Styles coming in at last minute. No one knew there at the crowd that was going to happen. They fucking they stole the show. They put on a fucking clinic just like we knew they would. And afterwards, they throw up Double Too Sweet, give the crowd what they wanted. Fuck, it was amazing. Like, or... Go ahead, yeah.
No, it's one of those magical moments.
Yeah.
You know, and it's an opportunity missed. But your point again?
So now during the pandemic, you have an opportunity, like you said, missed here to do something like this. Or you could have put over one of your other champions. One of the other motherfucking champions that you have. Put over the U.S. champion. Put over maybe the tag champs. Put over the fucking women's champion. Or the women's champion, the tag team champions as well. Put over anyone. Bring up someone from NXT. You bring up they just went New Year's Evil. Bring up Ripley. Put Ripley versus fucking Ripley versus Asuka in the main event. Why not? Have Ripley lose, but put over Asuka and Ripley at the same time. There you go, WWE. I just gave you an ending to a perfect fucking show, but instead you gave us 3 minutes of bullshit. Have a real match. Tell your people, go out there and kill it like you know that they can.
It reminds me of the, I will say, with the last Saudi show that they had, remember they had the airline difficulties.
Yeah.
And they had to pick a show on the fly. That was a good show.
Good God, that SmackDown was one of the best ever.
Yeah. You can do things like that. I just think that they were they can't, like I said, it's creative not finding something else or holding off on something until the champion can. It is very lazy, and I've always talked about the laziness of the WWE, not because I'm proud to talk about it, but I'm just, it's just creative's way of just, it's really showing that creative has really nothing, no good idea.
You're not making moments. They're not making memories.
And you had a prime opportunity to do so.
Yeah, right now, especially with everyone that lives in Orlando, which is a shitload. You can put over anyone that lives here or anyone in the Florida area. That's a safe way to put over someone right now. Or anyone that's willing to make the trip and travel safely and test negative. Put over someone good there too, We'll get to SmackDown later, but tonight, SmackDown creative, put over Cesaro. Do something like that. Put over someone that's been necessary. You have this opportunity to do that,
Yeah. It's just, the flagship is not really the flagship.
No, Raw is no longer. It's fucking broken. It's like
it's a very broken system. It's a very.
I want to give it back. I need to return it. Like, it's bad.
We can,
Yeah.
We can go into that. As I say, and we should make it a T-shirt for me. That's something for another episode.
Yeah, another episode. That's a good one. Well, I guess we'll start with Flair and Evans. So,
Oh God.
my Jesus, Lord in heaven, this was so
Do we
disgusting.
have to?
We need to talk about this. This was gross. This was nasty. I don't want this. Stop.
Have to.
Raw Creative, stop. This is gross. Do not do this. This is nasty.
It's not.
This was weird.
It's not.
Okay, it was cute the first time when we had Flair hitting on the girls, the old man, when we were kids. It was cute a little bit. Now
No,
it's
it
disgusting.
Then.
And then you have Flair and his daughter and Flair and Charlotte working together back then was good. Now it's creepy. Now it's weird. Stop bringing Ric Flair in. Let him stay at home. He's a sick old man. Stop bringing him. Not sick. Well, he's like sick physically.
He's high risk.
Right. He's high risk. Let him stay the fuck home because what happened on Monday Night Raw is gross. Do you want to?
Oh.
I'll let you take reign because I just flipped out a little bit, but it's nasty.
Well, I mean, basically they had a match with Charlotte Flair. I believe. Now I'm drawing a blank. It was probably a tag team match or something like that. I can't remember because the show's so darn long now. I thought I did. But anywho, match not all that great, but Ric Flair comes down, being Ric Flair, of course. And then he, I guess Charlotte had the pin on Lacey.
Yep.
And then he does his heel move and puts her leg on the rope.
Yep.
Eventually, Lacey gets the victory, of course. And,
so, before you give away the rest of the finish, my thoughts at this point was, okay, now this is kind of cool. Maybe Flair's gonna put over Lacey over his daughter. Like, okay, I've had it with your bullshit that you excommunicated me from WWE. But now I'm gonna put over someone else that has the potential to beat you. That's what I thought they were doing here. But instead, let us know what happened instead.
Puts over Lacey, and Lacey's they're all upon each other, really. I don't know what else to say.
Oh, God. They are insinuating a dirty old man relationship on television that children watch.
These two are married with children. These two are married, and one of them has children, which is Lacey Evans.
And Ric Flair is like 3 times her age.
Probably, he's 70-something.
Good God.
My God, it just doesn't make sense to me. But again, WWE thinking, oh, let's bring Ric Flair back in the fray and let's make this edgy. It's not edgy. It's the edge of my toilet seat. Okay, it's trash. And what makes it worse is that Lacey Evans goes on Twitter. I don't know if you.
I didn't see
Twitter.
that.
I don't even know if you're on there.
I am on there. You can follow me at AJ East Coast.
But good plug. Good plug. See. Anyway, so she says, I think he tweets something. It's retweeting the video of WWE, and I think she says, thank you, Daddy, or something like that. Thank you, Daddy?
Ew.
Thank you, Dad. I'm like, oh, God.
Now, we still have the potential that what I said earlier could happen, that he's putting us over, and maybe this is just them fucking around, and he's
I'm pretty sure it is, but
it's the dirtiest way to get there.
nasty.
Like Sarah says in the chat here, it's the dirty old man will never be in style. It's trash. It is. It's the dirtiest way to get there.
I mean, Flair wasn't even relevant, hadn't been relevant since 1995, so
No.
I don't see he is the greatest of all time, but the allure of him being in this thing now, what good is it doing? Your daughter's tag team champions with Asuka. So what it's doing is watering down the women's tag titles. What it's doing is kind of watering down Asuka too. It's doing nobody any favors here.
Yeah.
And I'm not really interested to see what happens next. You kind of just turned me off to that.
No.
Thank you, Daddy. WWE, thank you, Daddy.
It's gross. Fucking gross. Don't do it anymore. I don't want this. It's nasty.
It's an acid trip, man, watching Raw sometimes. Ugh.
I understand that Raw is supposed to be the sitcom, but also at the same time the big time, and it's neither right now, especially
Well,
with this trash.
ugh. Anyway.
So yeah, moving on. What we get? Elias versus Jackson Riker.
Oh, heavens.
So the Jackson Riker he was a part of the Forgotten Sons, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
forgot
he
you. I hate
was.
the Forgotten Sons, by the way. Don't ever come back to
Yeah.
NXT again. Do never come back to my house again. You will, if they, I will let you in on a little secret. The student section got a little rowdy one night between the grizzled young veterans and the Forgotten Sons, and when they asked us to stop, they shouldn't have done that, and we got a little bit more rowdy, and we made some good enemies that night. Me and Gibson no longer are friends. Every time we make eye contact, I want to kill that man, and I no longer support the Forgotten Sons. But now the Forgotten Sons are hanging out with Corbin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but in real life, me and the grizzled young veterans, especially Gibson, which by the way, you motherfucker, I saw you at NXT, and I hope that you recognized me. I know it's been a while, but I hope that you recognized me, you fucker. But I banged as hard as I could on the glass and he looked right at me. I don't know if you saw in NXT when he looked to the crowd and was on the mic. He looked right at me, and I banged on. I was like, "Yeah, you remember me? You remember me?" And I was like, fucking yelling at him. I was like, "Hey Gibson, you suck," just messing like we used to. But anyways, back to
Wasn't it? Oh yeah, the grizzled young veterans. Wasn't the Forgotten Sons? One of them was like, "Oh, our great president."
yeah,
One of them's like, "Oh God, oh." Well, they deserve to be where they are, irrelevant.
irrelevant. There, we
And
forgot
just
you,
like
and just like
yeah,
Riker.
we forgot you, and
But
he's anyway.
I'll be positive with this though. It is giving Riker another avenue working with Elias and allowing him to actually wrestle again a little bit.
It is,
You know,
but
so that's a positive from that on.
it's a glimmer, but it's not really much of anything. To me, I still won't buy into this Jackson Riker. I think it's still I mean, Elias is not the best wrestler, but he is definitely a great showman.
Yeah, he's a great
But
showman. Yeah.
I mean, I think I went to the bathroom during that match, to be honest. So
What I do like, I'll say this about Elias, is that he is doing some '80s shit with this heel, and
he
taking
is.
his character outside of WWE and being the musician drifter outside and actually putting music up on iTunes and shit, and it actually climbed the charts. That's some good character work to bring your heelness out into the real world like they used to do back then in the '80s. Honestly, he's like one of the only guys that doing that right now besides Jericho, I think, you know.
Right. You
Yeah.
have a point there. Yeah.
But anyways,
I
after the break, I'll be honest, Hulu cut out this part and I don't really know what happened, but I think I fell asleep at the same time anyway, but Hardy I think beats Elias, right? Or Elias Riker gets rolled up. I don't know.
Hardy, I think, beats Elias. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he challenged him he challenged him to the second match, and they went. It was just so boring and weird. And I've seen Elias and fucking Hardy so many times. I forgot it. Like I don't really know what happened. And that's once again like fucking. It made me realize, oh, we still have 2 more hours of this shit. You know, so if you're already losing me right here.
Yeah, it wasn't even, I don't think, even 2 hours. I think you still had 2.5 hours still. So you're still in for a very long night. Yeah. It was nothing. It was filler time. You got to fill
Yeah,
TV
little
time.
fill
You
TV
got
time.
live TV. Very filler. I can't really.
Well, at
It
least
doesn't bring anything. It doesn't push a story. It just was there.
at least Riker
We just
is on USA Network again, so I'll say that. But Miz and Morrison next, Sheamus and Keith Lee. It was good for what it was. I mean, it was the Miz and Morrison thing. Something needs to happen now because it's just getting a little stale. because we've seen this so many times. And I knew this was going to happen, putting these two back together again. They either need to break it up and do something, it needs to get violent, or they need to push them to championships. They need to do something quick because it's getting a little stale. But this was a little refreshing, though, against Keith Lee and Sheamus, especially them teaming together.
Yeah, it's very refreshing for personally, from what I think of that, from that duo of Sheamus and Keith Lee. It's very refreshing. It's putting, I think, Sheamus back into the babyface column for the first time in 5 years, and it's really boosting up Keith Lee a bit
because they buried the shit out of Lee.
But with respect to Miz and Morrison, I can't help but to agree. It is a very stale tag team. I thought, when they first got back together in 2019,
mm-hmm.
that they would be tag team champions.
Which, by the way, fucking Johnny Nitro, way to ruin your fucking re-debut on fucking social media. Way to go, bro. Yeah. Way to really bring this into the fucking Gen Z age.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, but they worked well together, Lee and Sheamus. I kind of like that. It looked good.
I do like it. I think they do have actually a good chemistry. So we might, if Keith Lee is not in singles title contention, we could possibly see a good tag team.
Yeah, because,
come along.
But then they went ahead and told us that might not be the thing, because then they put them two together and they had a match after that.
Yeah,
Lee and Sheamus after the next commercial, they fought after that. So who knows? It might not happen. Maybe they'll put their differences aside. I don't know. It's an interesting story. It's one of the only good stories on Raw at this time right now. Because then I only say that because it's putting over the guy that they should have put over way before, and it's giving Sheamus another light too. And if you don't give Sheamus the fucking title by the end of the year, I'm gonna be upset. By the way.
You want a Sheamus title run again.
I need another Sheamus WWE champion run. I need that.
Well, I would say he's a heck of a champion. He's a heck of an athlete. I hate what has happened. I mean, after the bar split up, it seems like Sheamus went, a totally different direction. But
it's good sportsmanship display, them messing around, having a good time, and then, hugging it out afterwards. But if they put on a good match, though, hitting big moves, it was a little good TV match. Yeah. Not bad.
I'm thinking, Sheamus. I always love Sheamus, so I think it's a good. And Keith Lee is soon to be the uncrowned champion. He's going to be a champion one way or the other sometime this year.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Either they're going to start him off as a tag champ, and then move him on to a mid-card title, move him up. But I'm thinking maybe he's on a collision course with Bobby Lashley, probably. That's where I'm thinking.
If they choose to do Sheamus and Lee together now and make them champs, they could do the whole they break up for whatever reason, like they always do, and then they fight, and then one of them gets an opportunity. That's what I can see them doing. That's a lazy way to do it, and they do that all the time, especially with the women's division. We can talk about that tomorrow night, how many times they've done that.
Yeah.
There's doing it again, by the way. But, and we'll get to that part later. But the funniest part about this part was the fucking, the announcers were like really, really confused. Like one of them didn't have the shit in the script right. Because they were just like, but they're friends and they're not friends, and I don't know what's going on, guys. I don't know. That's my best Samoa Joe.
Well, that goes to show how unorganized that night really is. Okay, if the commentators have no idea what they're talking about because you're changing things or doing stupid stuff, it's not very common that commentators get confused.
Yeah.
So
it's not. No.
Someone like Tom Phillips, I can see, but Samoa Joe is usually on his P's and Q's, and for him to just say that's just.
I'll tell you who's good. Who's the kid that sits next to Wade on NXT.
Oh, Vic Joseph, yeah.
Vic is good, and then I like the dude from I like Nigel, of course, and I like the dude at NXT UK is good. He's real quick. He keeps up you the whole time.
Yeah, Andy Shepherd, yeah.
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 But anyways, can
I
you?
miss Morrow. I miss Morrow.
Oh god damn it!
on
I miss
NXT.
Morrow. Mamma mia! Fuck! I miss Morrow.
Mamma mia. I miss him so much.
I
But
miss.
anyway, I'm sorry.
I miss seeing him at Full Sail run down the ramp and around the corner and hop in. That's something I really liked to see when they came out. They're like, "Here comes Morrow, Mamma mia! You hear Mamma mia?" Morrow, we miss you at Full Sail. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But can you explain to
Anyway.
me fucking Retribution, please?
I can't.
That's our next part, guys. T-Bar and Xavier Woods. I said that out loud. T-Bar versus Xavier. What the fuck is Retribution? Get the shit out of here. Enough. You ruined it. Stop.
What is a T-bar? What is a slapjack?
Slapjack.
What? Slapjack.
And
even my mom was
okay,
watching,
if you're gonna put a mask on Mia Yim, fucking make it not look like Mia Yim. We all know it's Mia Yim under there. We all know that's the fucking Keith Lee's girlfriend. We all know.
And you know it's Dijakovic. You know.
Give me Dijakovic back. Stop. If we can at least have anything out of this, can we at least make Dijakovic awesome again? Because you ruined the fuck out of that. He was so good at NXT, and now look at this shit. He doesn't even give me Dijo back. The man from Worcester needs. He's from Worcester, okay? That's a small area of Massachusetts. That needs to be more up on the map. But let him wrestle like we know he can. But instead, he's got to be with this bullshit. Anyways, go ahead.
Austin's a very, very loyal New Englander.
That's right.
And a very loyal Patriots fan. So excuse him if he gets hyped about Massachusetts. Okay? But anyway, you can't explain Retribution because there's nothing to Retribution.
No.
There's really nothing that's said but a bunch of people that were randomly picked out of NXT. Honestly, just the most random selection of guys from NXT.
Well, they were like, how can we tell the Nexus without telling the Nexus?
But why? Why do it?
Yeah.
There was no motive. All we knew is that there were guys outside of the Performance Center who were causing a muck. What I heard in conspiracy theories from other podcasts, and again, this is from other people, that WWE was trying to, take a stab at Black Lives Matter or something that. Or I'm like, okay, don't do that because honestly,
don't do that.
You're barking up the wrong tree here. But you can't really explain because there's no motive. Even if you have Mustafa Ali as the lead of Retribution, it still doesn't make sense as a whole. What's your purpose here?
Yeah, it's the only good thing is the heel turn of Mustafa. That's the only cool thing.
Well, that was, but remember, he was always supposed to turn heel because he was supposed to be that stupid SmackDown hacker.
And they never finished that, so they're like, oh yeah, by the way, guys.
They should have.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
That was a good story. But they realized, I think, Jeremy, that they were telling the exact same fucking story on Raw and on SmackDown at the same time. And then when they forgot the SmackDown hacker, they were like, oh yeah, that's Mustafa, by the way. We're all in agreement? Yeah, it was Mustafa.
Well, yeah, we were all in agreement at that time.
God damn it.
You should have went with the darn thing, but now you have like 10 douchebags in a mask.
Yeah, well, anyway, moving on, fucking T-Bar rolls the fucker up, whatever, distraction, bullshit, hit the finisher, and then the only cool thing, they did name the finisher Eyes Wide Shut. I thought that was interesting. But
that's a good finisher name.
Yeah.
Okay, and what else?
I wonder if they'll kind of draw now, if they can draw in the injury thing with Kingston, because that's another part of the news. Kingston is hurt in real life as well. A few weeks probably. Everyone's getting a broken jaw. What are you guys fucking trying to do Japanese strong style all of a sudden?
I think they're trying to make themselves a more combat sports company, huh?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, heck.
We actually got a fucking championship match on Raw for the first time in a while. After that, we get Bobby versus Riddle, which, by the way, why did you take Matt from his name? That's weird. I don't like it when they call him Riddle. I don't like calling him Riddle. His name is Matt Riddle. He is Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle. He's an MMA specialist based from Las Vegas. Yeah, no, I mean, why did they do that? I don't get it. Why have one name?
I don't know.
What's the appeal?
I don't fucking know. It's weird. It's Vince's obsession with fucking one name shit. He's been like that since we were kids. He started doing that with the females, remember? With Candace and fucking just the one, fucking, what was her name? Maria, fucking, God, I can't remember half of these them. But all of them, they were just one names. And then we had Andrade Cien Almas, and then they put him down to Andrade just now.
Andrade Sienna Almas.
Yeah, it gave that fucking that big villain feel to him, but now they're
right.
Yeah, but he's obsessed with fucking doing that. I don't understand. But fucking this match was bullshit too, because we didn't even actually get the real championship match, because it was just another way to put over Lashley instead of putting over Riddle, which they should have done. Fucking disqualification again. Bullshit.
I, sir, have little to say about that, really. I don't know why they do that.
We already know that Lashley is strong as shit and is the champion. Enough is enough. Like, we already know that. So we stop beating the dead horse and let the actual match go on. Even if you want Lashley to win that match, at least let them duke it out for a little bit.
But you know what, though? Matt Riddle is equally, if not stronger.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, he's good.
Because
yeah.
Look at the guy and his workouts. You know, those MMA workouts are great. But Lashley has rigorous workouts too.
Yeah.
But I think Matt has more of a strength advantage, a little more of a strength advantage to Bobby Lashley, to be honest.
I have a strange...
And they're both equal in competition, so I just don't understand. I don't know.
I have a strange feeling like Vince is like trying to punish Matt for some reason. You know, like he's trying to fucking punish him. Because he doesn't
like Goldberg?
I don't know. Yeah, probably because he called out Goldberg.
Yeah, beef with Goldberg. The guy just wants a match with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, if the fans didn't
offended.
If you guys watching our show didn't know that, fucking backstage realness, Goldberg and Riddle don't really like each other, and understandably so. Goldberg's an asshole, and Riddle is
for sure
likes to step over people's toes a little bit, but they don't like each other. You have the opportunity to bring that here on TV too, by the way, guys. They're on the same fucking show, Riddle and Goldberg. Anyways,
I'd make that a Royal Rumble match. Make that a WrestleMania match. I would watch that match.
I'd pay to watch that shit.
But don't insert Bill Goldberg into the championship contention when there's other guys that could easily go into championship contention.
Well, that's true. Well, next, speaking of championship contention, which I think should be, we got Gulak versus AJ next, which is cool. Yeah. Gulak is getting some good time now. This is a long time coming that Gulak fucking is getting this kind of TV time, but finally, right?
Yeah, finally. I don't think he's gotten good TV time since, one, the Cruiserweight Classic, and two, when he was PowerPoint guy.
Yep, PowerPoint guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck me. But this was another one, you know, quick TV thing so they can just keep doing commercials. AJ wins, phenomenal forearm, whatever. Let's keep going. And then fucking we get Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose with Baszler and Nia Jax. I'm over the Baszler Nia Jax thing. I'm really over that. I thought when they lost the titles, that was it. That we were gonna do Baszler and Nax fight each other now, but now they're continuing to team up together. And also, we're gonna talk more about this tomorrow night. What the fuck is their obsession with breaking up women's tag teams and just to put them up with other women's tag teams? Like, why are they just like shuffling cards and like, yep, put this guy together, put this girl together with this girl. We're gonna break them up now and let's put them together with here. That's what I feel like they did with Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. I was like, okay, Mandy Rose, she's away from Sonya, you know, because of the real world issues with, thank God bless Sonya Deville that she's okay in real life. You know, if you all know that story, thank God that she's okay in real life. That happened just, down the street from here. God, it could happen it could happen,
really?
and yeah, very close. It could happen to anyone, but so
Oh,
stay safe,
Lord.
everyone. Keep on your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to this, fucking. I thought they were like gonna get Mandy Rose some fucking good airtime and let her do her thing, but instead they paired her again with a tag team, and again, fucking.
Hey,
Nia Jax wins, or sorry, Baszler wins with the submission. What are you doing here? What are you just stabbing Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, just pushing them down and just trying to re-put with Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax? What are you doing? It's strange. It's boring. Stop telling the same goddamn story with the women's division. Change it up. You have opportunity to do so. We'll talk more about that tomorrow night. But yeah, go ahead.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Tomorrow night we'll have a whole probably an hour when it comes down to creative with women. But I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon is back there with names in a hat, and like, all right, ladies, come on, pick a name. Pick a name. Anybody, pick a name. But it does no favors. Poor Dana Brooke. I think Dana Brooke is one of the most underrated women in the entire women's division, if you ask me. Mandy Rose. They have such good talent. But yet again, people like Nia Jax, people like Shayna Baszler, they want to lift those kind of guys up first.
We're going to talk more about this tomorrow night because if I get started on Nia Jax now, we're going to be here all night. But Nia Jax is dangerous, and tomorrow night you guys need to tune in on my opinions on that because she needs to go. She needs to go. She's going to hurt someone again.
Or go back and brush up on her skills.
Go back and learn how not to hurt people. But yeah, anyway.
But it filler time.
Yep.
Live television.
But then
I pay for airtime.
They the third hour is so boring. Don't do it because now you filler time, and then you ran into this the awkward main event that we talked about earlier, ending now with Alexa Bliss and Triple H. Or sorry, Alexa Bliss. Triple H is gone, by the way, and then you get Alexa Bliss. Fucking apparently now she became a firebender over the weekend and learned how to use fire powers, and now is blasting Randy Orton in the face with fire powers. So that's where we're at now in the story. That now Orton is now set on fire. So
yeah, his face is burned.
And instead of ending a professional wrestling show with professional wrestling, we ended with a skit. Again.
Are you surprised?
Not anymore, because I don't know if Vince we both know that he doesn't really think that it's wrestling, but did you forget that it's a wrestling show? That's what it is. And it's kind of weird now. Raw is like some strange like back alley fucking theater show, and SmackDown is an actual wrestling show. Like what at this point, what's the fucking point of watching Raw? It's so weird, and it doesn't make sense. It hasn't made sense this whole pandemic. And it's just continued to get weirder. And now, are they I hope that this fucking Fiend Randy Orton thing goes somewhere. I really do.
Pretty sure it is. Actually, that's the storyline I have more hope for, is, that one. And once again, if you missed our Fiend episode, we actually touched base on the relationship between Alexa Bliss and the Fiend, and I think we're going to get more answers in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be Rumble. I think maybe it's slow roll to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But please don't make it a drag. Please don't do that. Raw is tanking right now. I mean,
bad, by the way.
If your competition, which they don't consider competition, is beating you in the 18 to 49 demographic, that's embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
I mean,
you're losing your fans quickly.
And they're not just beating them, they are routing them.
Yes.
So that's a difference. So, I mean, you need to bring back, that's your fan base. That's how you get approved for the next season. That's how you get your money. You know what I mean? I
was thinking about this earlier, that I guarantee that if you cut the third hour of Raw, you will not be having these ratings issues like you do, because by most of the people are already cut out before the main event is even around. And if that, they're either turning off the television or they're changing and watching something else and coming back when they think that the main event is going to happen. If it's something that's drawing, they're losing because it's too long. Especially on the East Coast, it's 11 o'clock by the time the fucking Raw is over.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That is
Well, it's
ridiculous.
5 o'clock here in the West, but
It's
you know,
ridiculous. 3 hours is too much, especially right now. And let your wrestlers fucking rest it, for God's sake, too.
Yeah.
Why do you have to be so goddamn different than SmackDown? Because you're losing to SmackDown, by the way, severely.
In some ways, yeah.
Yeah. But
Before you know it, to be honest, Tony Khan is gonna start planning to move to Monday or Friday night.
yeah.
You have to.
At this point, it's no longer about winning Wednesday anymore. You've got to, because you're already winning Wednesday and then some by beating Raw here and there.
Yep, and well, you're beating Raw in the important demographic.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Khan's not a stupid man.
Yeah.
He's gonna say, "Well, guys, we're packing up Wednesday nights. We're going back to Mondays, live on TNT."
Well,
Vince better watch out because I think that's gonna happen sooner better than later.
Yeah. Ted Turner will fucking, I don't know what he'll do at that point.
Well, Ted Turner doesn't really have much of a.
No, I know, but he'll be happy. I
But they
think.
don't-
God bless him.
he's a little bit on the ill side. But anyway, I digress. That's another.
Yeah. Well,
another
so
episode.
this week, guys, I didn't have the opportunity to watch AEW because I went to Wednesday night. I went to NXT live at the Capitol Wrestling Center. But I didn't have the opportunity to watch their recaps yet, so I didn't see anything that happened with AEW. But Jeremy, like he said, he's on the West Coast. He didn't have the opportunity to see SmackDown yet. So after our break later, we'll talk. We'll do after NXT. We'll take a break and then we'll do. We'll talk about what happened to AEW, and then we'll finish. We'll talk about what's going on SmackDown, or either one. It doesn't matter. But yeah, NXT. So I was there live, and you were watching.
Yes.
So, spoiler alert, and for anyone that actually gives a fuck about 205 Live, I don't know why you would waste your fucking time even looking at that.
Sorry.
Go ahead and just watch it on YouTube. Like, why? Fuck me. Is it just content for the fucking free WWE Network version? I don't know.
Well,
Fuck, it's bad. But, we have to watch it beforehand. So, we get, for some reason, they decide to start the Dusty Cup on 205 Live, and we get fucking the Singh brothers, or whatever the fuck they're called now, the Bollywood boys. Only cool thing about them is their music. Other than that, they're just annoying. They're just another version of Breezango, or Brazongo, whatever the fuck they are. They're just annoying.
God, easy.
They are. The Singh brothers are just a fucking another version of them. It's the same thing. It's just the don't music, and they're dancing. It's the same fucking thing. It's weird.
Oh my lord.
But
Okay.
God, thank God they wrestled the fucking greatest thing that that Triple H and Vince McMahon don't know that they have, which is Legado de Fantasma. Those boys is money. This is my first time seeing Raul, and I forget his partner's name, the other one.
Joaquin Wilde.
Yeah. This is my first time seeing them up close like this. Them boys is money. They can work in the ring. They're good. And fucking Raul, and not Raul, what's his name? The guy who's the champion. What's his name? I always forget it.
Oh, Santos Escobar.
Yeah, Escobar. He's perfect. Yeah. He's fucking perfect. Watching him, I was studying him the whole time. He's fucking perfect. He fucking plays the villain and the good guy so good because he knows that people are behind them. He understands that in the character and in real life that people are behind him because he knows that he's money. And it's hard when you have such a good heel. It's sometimes too hard not to cheer for them because it just gets overwhelming sometimes at how much, like, at least for here in the arena, people are loving, Legado del Fantasma. They're loving the whole thing, and he's money. The suit looks good. That suit was fucking amazing. When he's not wrestling, he looks good. He's out there. He's got his hands up. He looks good. He's with it. He's appreciative of his boys. This is the best, in my opinion. We've all seen this before where they tell, the Mexican guy with a lot of money, dresses really nice. He's the evil, guy. We said it with Alberto Del Rio, which, by the way, I want to say publicly, fuck you. And I'm upset that I was ever your fan. Fuck you. Alberto Del Rio. But this is a better version of Del Rio. This is the best thing I've seen when they've done this kind of thing. Because he's money, dude. He's like the Joker almost. He's like a good he's like the gangster Joker. He really is. Like if you guys remember that movie in the 80s, Batman, I think that was, the gangster Joker, he's like that. He's good. He's a heel, and he's fucking, a villain at the and a good. He's a face at the same time. He's blurring the line between it. He's good. He's equally as entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
He's the lead of everything going on here, and he's just as the tag team is what I'm saying is equally as entertaining. They're so good. It's the best villain face crossover thing I've seen in a while. They need to be on regular television is the point I'm trying to get to. Why are you wasting this? They're good. Move them out of this. If you want him to be the Cruiserweight Champion, introduce him into NXT as the Cruiserweight Champion more, and then let him drop it and bring him into NXT because these boys is good. Too good.
They've made a few appearances on NXT. I think they were on Halloween Havoc. I think probably Halloween Havoc was the last time that they were on there.
Yeah.
But they are money. The Legado del Fantasma is just a very clean team. They are good-looking guys. Just a lot of swag and machismo just dripping off of them. With Santos with the Cruiserweight title, I just think you're right. They are money. They are. I mean, look at them, and they're so smooth in the ring. That lucha libre, man. They're bringing it to lucha libre on American television. That brings people to seats. They're very reminiscent of the early days of like Juventud Guerrera, Psicosis, early days of Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio Jr. That kind of lucha libre. So that traditional stuff. So
they're good.
You're right.
They're good.
And I think 205 Live is taped now, so you kind of got to see that match before everybody else.
Oh, whoops! I'm sorry with the spoiler. Oh well. I'm not spoiling shit because who watches that show?
Well, not nobody.
I guess nobody, but fucking. But anyways, yes, they are, and they're good character work because you can see it on his face that he understands what he's doing there, that as Escobar, that how good he is, and he knows that people are behind him, but he still remembers that he's the heel, but he has it in his back pocket that it's hard to tell sometimes, and that's good, and his tag team is just as equally as good in that aspect because they're smooth in and out of the ring. And they're smooth together, all three of them. They look good together. It's a good thing. And even if one day you just push Escobar, those two boys are going to be all right without him.
Oh sure.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. So we actually start the show. I believe what did they start with? Fucking The Way, Candace and bullshit.
Yeah, I think. What is it? Indy Hartwell.
You said her name.
Yeah, Johnny Gargano. Yeah.
Indy Hartwell she's just an over sexualized distraction. It's just a bunch of. She's not necessary, in my opinion. What is she there for? Just to fucking stand there?
To be another instigator like Austin Theory is.
She's annoying. I don't want to watch her.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. This is stupid. I sat down and at the end at the match, I was like, "This is so stupid." I did not pay attention barely at all. I looked up a couple times to see what's going on. The coolest thing is Shotzi with her fucking tank. That's the only cool thing.
Oh, I love that girl.
Yeah, TCB baby.
Man, Shotzi, a Bay Area girl, and she is just awesome.
Shotzi's cool because she's like, I want to drive a mini tank into the NXT ring, and Triple H is like, yeah, go for it. That sounds like a good idea.
Oh, yeah. That's her. That's the heavy metal. That's the rock of NXT, and she fits that very well.
She is that representation of hardcore that NXT tries to go for. You're right.
Yeah, she is, and that's she. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, you started with the Gargano thing.
It's awful,
Yeah. He's not good as a heel.
They don't know how to sell shit, dude. They can't keep a crowd, and they don't know how to sell shit. It's just overselling. it's overselling bullshit. That's like, come on, like you guys are better than that. Have better real wrestling talent.
I just don't get Johnny Gargano. I love Johnny Gargano as a babyface. He fits more. It's just this pretty much cringeworthy seeing him as a heel and him having a faction.
Yeah.
So it's something I just can't buy into. Leo
And
Ruff.
I can't either too because I think Gargano is a bad actor.
He just can't be heel.
No.
He just can't. He thinks he can, but he just Candice LeRae.
It's hard.
No,
it's just bad. They're bad acting. It's like we talked on our first podcast. Some people are gonna be forever heels, and some people are forever faces.
Forever baby.
And Johnny is a forever face. You cannot play a heel. He's bad at it.
Well, and God, Austin Theory.
I don't. Who the fuck won this match, by the way? Because I sat down. I stopped caring.
I don't remember actually thinking about it.
Well, next though, I was like already pissed off, and I was like, all right, might be an interesting night. I was only looking forward to later, which was going to be the main event, but next we get Everrise and the fucking GYV Grizzled Young Veterans, which I said earlier, fuck you, Gibson. I will say that forever. I hate you, and
your best friend.
I think you suck, and I will continue as long as you are wrestling, and as long as I am there, I will continue to yell at you and to yell obscenities at you and annoy you the entire match. And I really hope that next week that you continue to come back at me because this is just getting started yet again. But yeah, we get fucking the GYV versus Everrise. It's like it's okay. We all knew what was going to happen though. We knew that fucking Everrise was not going to win this shit. But this is the kickoff of the Dusty Cup though. Officially.
Right,
opening round of the Dusty Cup. So you know, it's what Dusty would have wanted, a good tag match, a good hard-hitting tag match, but...
It was, but, I mean...
I just hate Gibson and Drake. They're fucking ugly and annoying, and I hate them.
They're... Okay, they're ugly. I hate them because they're ugly. Guys, he looks at looks as a way to get out. I'm just kidding. It could, though, but I pray one day you and Zach Gibson become best friends.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm just kidding. I don't think that'll happen in this lifetime. I mean, look at him. He won. You know, Zach Gibson, though, is a very good wrestler.
He is a good wrestler. I'll give that to him. Yeah, he is a good wrestler.
Yeah, and they're both equally as good wrestlers. But, you know, as far as, like, you know, consequences, you know, for the Dusty Cup, you know, we know they're going to make it pretty far. I think they're going to make it at the right... I mean, come on, someone like Everrise, you know, them advancing, which would be a good underdog story, you know, to get them some points going forward. Now, this isn't a single elimination tournament, is it? Or is it a round-robin tournament? I can't remember.
I don't remember. You know? We'll have to look that up on break. I think it is a single, but...
I think it's single elimination because I think the finals are at TakeOver, so that's coming up soon.
My biggest issue with Gibson and them is that they're good wrestlers and stuff, but god damn it, I hate them on the mic. They're fucking annoying. And there's no reason for you to take up that much fucking time before your match. It's so annoying. Shut your goddamn mouth. So every time that he's in the ring and it just continues to, like, stop talking. Stop talking while you're wrestling. Shut up. That's why we yell that to you in the crowd. Every time you open your mouth, just shut up, Gibson. Stop talking. It's like that kid in class that just keeps fucking saying something to the teacher over and over again. Just shut up.
Right.
Just fucking wrestle.
Just wants to hear themselves. Well, that's what heels do. That's what heels do. That's what they're supposed to do. I think, you know, they're just doing their job.
Yeah.
You know, in that respect, you know. But, you know,
but the whole fucking time they're wrestling, they're talking the whole time, louder sometimes than the announcers. It's annoying as fuck.
Yeah, I know.
What I'm saying is they're taking it too far. Yeah.
Oh, they're doing the same thing that they did in NXT UK. Remember when Zach Gibson was in the second United Kingdom Championship tournament? Now rechristened into the NXT UK Championship. Now, people hated Zach Gibson even more in England. Remember, they used to take off their shoes and swing it around.
They were doing that here at NXT, but I think they stopped that for health things. I think that's gross now, probably in the eyes of certain
Well,
agencies.
probably American feet are a lot dirtier than United
Yeah.
Kingdom feet. Probably, we don't know.
But
Anyway, you're in the state of Florida as well too.
well,
So
the fucking
who knows what
GYV
you
they
know.
win. They're the first ones winning here. So
Well, great,
yeah.
good for
Oh
them.
well.
Moving on.
Next we got fucking Loomis and Gargano. Speaking of bad acting, but I liked this match though. It was entertaining. Fucking I hate that fucking Gargano had to use the roll up to win, like instead of putting like actually showing a better fucking way to end instead of just rolling him over.
Let's talk about that for a second though. Dexter Loomis is a big hombre.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Okay. A roll up? Really?
Yeah.
You need leverage. Feet on the ropes would do just fine. A low blow when the referee's not looking, that's viable. But a roll up,
just a roll up, yeah.
As big as Dexter Loomis, come on.
Fucking Gargano.
Dexter Loomis, I love that guy though. He is just so. He doesn't have to say anything.
He's good.
You know,
it's different. It's weird. It's good. But he's a good wrestler, and he fucking physically looks good too. He's scary as shit.
He is. I wouldn't want to get into a fight with him.
I hope that the character does mature a little bit with him, because eventually it's going to get a little old, and especially if they push him towards some kind of title or a little bit higher up the card, I think it does need to mature a little bit.
It can.
But after the match though, oh, go ahead. So I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I'm almost done actually.
We get the real life action figure cosplay cyberpunk character Kushida coming to save the day after they brawled.
Kushida alone.
I love Kushida, but he dresses like Street Fighter.
Well, when he was in Japan, he didn't. I mean, I'm glad they kept the Back to the Future stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what he was known for. But yeah he kind of does. Oh, you mean with his hair?
Yeah,
right?
he looks like a Street Fighter.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. It's just strange. But he's a good guy. I love Kushida. He's an amazing wrestler. Don't get me wrong. Kushida's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, because I thought you were about to bury Kushida.
Oh, no. I call him that because I think he looks like an action figure.
Because we were going to have an episode of why Austin hates Kushida.
Oh, no, I love Kushida. I got to meet him in real life. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I walked out of, I don't know what class I was in here, but I walked out of class and they were doing pictures outside, and I was like, oh, hey, what's up, Kushida? He's like, how you doing?
Yeah. He's a good man, yeah.
But
I think that's what they're shooting for. Is probably, it's been a long time coming, but I think Kushida and Gargano for the UK. I mean, not the UK,
U.S. title, yeah. Kushida needs the goddamn belt, please. Give him the fucking belt. We all know that needs to happen.
Oh, get it off of Gargano, for God's sake.
Give him the fucking belt. Put over Kushida. It's time. It's now time. Make a memory. Make a star. Do it with Kushida, please.
At St. Valentine. Oh, that's not even the paper. I'm already giving the next takeover.
Yeah.
The name.
It could be St. Valentine's if they want to allude back to that. Who knows?
Yeah, I
but
want it to be.
Loomis,
but anyway.
Loomis is unique, though. They could do some interesting things with him, so we'll see what they do with that. But did I read? I think I saw later in the night there was some kind of video that played. Kushida is also in the Dusty Cup, too? And so is Gargano, right? Aren't they?
Yes.
Gargano in Theory. Gargano and fake ass Eminem wrestler Theory.
I gotta look that up. Because I think Kushida is 2.
I think Kushida's with Leon, if I'm not mistaken.
Ruff.
Yeah.
Right.
I love Leon. It's funny. I like it. It's good. It's good.
They put that belt on that.
I liked that. That was funny.
But you know what? He took it on. This is a guy who took an opportunity and ran with it.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I mean?
Because that could have gone worse. It could have been like, he could have made that worse. But he, like you said, he ran with it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and that triple threat at War Games was good because he went against, someone as big as Damian Priest, who probably has like an almost 100-pound size advantage and probably a little bit taller in height advantage. And you're facing a pretty good wrestler in Gargano, and he did good in that match.
Yeah,
He
he
made
did.
me a believer in Leon Ruff.
He did.
But anyway, yeah, I mean,
We'll see. It'll be interesting.
that
It'll just be another
it,
way probably to continue the feud with Kushida and Gargano. So it's an interesting way to push. I think maybe they also ran out of people to put in the whole cup itself too. You think about it that way.
yeah, there's not a whole lot of tag teams. Well,
Yeah.
the tag team pool was always traditionally small. Even in the 2015 Cup, I think it was like only a handful of guys. I think it was like a 16 tournament, but those were like random teams put together, like Balor and Samoa Joe. But that led off to something else.
Well, speaking of random going together and leading off to some other rivalry, that's exactly what they're doing with Atlas and Swerve now, because that's our next match. Swerve is Scott. Atlas and Scott together versus the new MSK, which, cool. I like MSK. They're dope. That's a good debut match. They look good. They're quick in the ring. They're working well with the crowd already. Their music's fun. It was a good debut for them.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. It was a good match. Good tag team match.
But you know them from elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz.
Especially Wentz,
guys. They're Desmond Xavier. Those are the names of MSK, but now they go by. I think Desmond goes by Wes Lee now.
Yeah.
And Wentz goes by Nash Carter.
Which is a cool name, by the way. I like that.
If you look at, yeah, that's cool. But if you look at the history, I think I followed Isaiah Swerve Scott when he was Shane Strickland back in the day in the independents. Jake Atlas, I followed him in the independent scene, and MSK when they were in the independent scene. That's a lot of history in the ring at once. People don't really realize because they're like, oh, these are new guys versus new guys. No, if you
they've been together. Right.
They've been in everything under the sun for years. If you go back to, I think it's going back to like 2017, 2018.
And that's what led to them having such a good debut here, is that, the history there,
Yeah, especially with Scott and Atlas.
Yeah.
They're that was a good match. I really wanted Atlas and Swerve to win, but I think they have their own little rivalry going on.
That's what's going on now, the two of them. But can we take the thing out of Swerve's mouth? It's distracting and it doesn't make any sense. It's weird. It looks like aluminum foil.
Oh.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But the Atlas is good. I like that. Atlas and Swerve will be good. No one is yelling whose house it is. It's Swerve's house. That doesn't happen anymore. I tried to yell it. I said, whose house is this? And no one answered. So apparently it's no longer Swerve's.
Well, they're not on TV as much anymore.
Yeah.
Which they need to start highlighting those guys. Those are the future of the
guys,
brand, for God's sake. I can see Atlas as the future of the brand. I love Jake Atlas. I love who he is as a person as well too. And meeting and Swerve is a heck of a wrestler. For any of you guys who are out there in TV land who or on podcast land, a good match to watch is Jake Atlas and then Shane Strickland at APW, which is in San Francisco in 2018. God, one of the best independent wrestling matches you can find on YouTube. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. What's next?
Well, MSK picks up the win. That's good because now you can tell more of a story there and let them, highlight them a little bit in the tournament. That'll be good.
I don't think it's going to last. But
no, it's not going to last, but at least the fans will know who they are by the end of this. So that's good. So we always get some new tag teams. I think was the GYV a debut tag team as well when they did it, the Cup? Was the Grizzled Young Veterans? I think they were a debut tag team too, right, for the Cup? So it's a similar there with MSK, well, I think. No? They were already in Who am I thinking of? I don't know.
NXT UK. I think you I think I know who you mean, but I just can't think of their name.
Yeah. Well, then we get the fight between Atlas, Scott backstage. So they're going to tell, them fighting a little bit there too. Maybe it'll be a filler match for New Year's Evil, or not, sorry, for Valentine's, whatever. And then Maybe it won't be, but maybe that'll. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not really that invested in it because it just unless the next time they go out there and it looks a little bit better and a little cleaner between them, I'm not too invested in the rivalry yet.
I think mainly because they're virtually unknown.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to buy into it at this point.
Well, after this, I hadn't seen this yet because I missed the other NXT, but Xia Li and the dude from the Matrix and the creepy lady with the king chair. So I watched them bring that out, and I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on here? I was like, what? Huh? Because this was new to me. I was like, wow, this is cool. This is good. Way to up the character with Xia Li. Because beforehand, the fucking the fans thing, it was getting old. You know, but this is cool. You got her with the kendo staff. The whole, it looks crazy.
Right.
You got Pete. She went in there and beat the shit out of whoever the hell that was. I don't even know. That was over real quick.
Pink. Look pink. She's pink.
Fucking they got that girl. Poor her. But they beat the fuck out of her.
Relevant.
And they got the Matrix dude coming out, and they got this lady who is apparently, you know, like some demon queen. I like this. This is really cool. It's creepy. It's a weird.
Scared the devil out of me.
Yeah, it's hardcore. Yeah, what are your thoughts on it? I like this hardcore shit of NXT. This is why the NXT has always been superior to Raw, in my opinion, in these days, because they do cooler, creative shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean those promos that led up to Xia Li, because I think Xia Li got kidnapped or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Something along the lines. Xia Li went in a car, and all of a sudden she was getting beat. Both him and Matrix dude. Asian Morpheus is actually his name is Boa.
Boa, yeah.
Boa.
Homeboy is ripped, Boa.
He's in
Swole.
really good shape.
Yeah.
But I like what they're doing with it. I think it's like this Asian, and I love my Asians. I love seeing Asians get the spotlight a bit. But I like what they're doing with it. And whoever this demonic creature is very interesting.
Will she be a wrestler or just men? Well, obviously Boa's gonna wrestle. If not, that'd be a waste.
Oh yeah, you can't just be Asian Morpheus and try to.
Yeah, but with the girl, I don't know. With the creepy demon lady, I think she might just be the permanent manager. That's what I think they're gonna do there.
A permanent manager, but who's the manager?
Yeah,
probably
who is that?
It's just gonna probably be a mysterious creature or whoever that gives them their power. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
Whatever she is, she has influence on Xia Li, and she kills people.
I would like to see Boa and Xia Li side by side champs someday. That'd be cool.
Oh, you mean like, yeah, that would be cool. That could be a possibility, but that won't be for probably another year.
Yeah,
So because Raquel Gonzalez is the.
Well, I was going to say, but also at the same time, remember, WWE doesn't know how to tell a story either. But yeah, Raquel Gonzalez, she's probably going to be the next one to be the next champ.
Right. Because I know Priest and Ripley are on their, I think they're on their way out of NXT.
Yeah. Because Ripley, she did her thing. She's awesome. She kicked ass. She won titles. She was she got a WrestleMania moment, all that stuff. She did everything that she was supposed to do in NXT. But unfortunately, there's so many times you can do that. For her, for the title, because what else are you gonna do? We gave her a little heel run for a little bit. The time's up, you know. She's just one of those wrestlers that needs to evolve past NXT because she's that good. Unfortunately, now you have to make up for that because she was the best goddamn thing on that show, including Pat McAfee, which is also gone now too.
You're really gonna have
for a little
to do
bit.
a lot of. You're gonna have to really build up a lot of those, which we can talk tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You got to start building more of those women up. But for Rhea Ripley, she is probably the most successful NXT call-ups ever.
Yeah.
Because no NXT superstar has ever been on the main card at WrestleMania.
Right.
You know what I mean? She has that advantage. And to challenge someone like Charlotte Flair, and not only that, but have a good match, it sets her apart. And I'm excited for her, but I just hope they just don't screw it up.
No.
You don't know what you have with Ripley.
I've said this a lot of times. Sometimes when the best leave NXT, they get buried and they get forgotten. Like I'm talking about Ricochet. Talking about Keith Lee. I'm talking about Andrade. Talking about Finn.
Sad.
They bury a lot of their best shit. And please don't do this with Ripley because she is honestly the best woman that you have next to Charlotte.
She's actually at equal playing field. She's proven herself to dance with the best.
And Xia Li, too, right behind... Not Xia Li, I'm sorry. Who's the champ? Io, right behind her. But,
Oh, my God.
Io's goddamn good, too.
Why don't we see her on TV as much?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure that out. I think
we'll get to that tomorrow.
Well, she's been... every time I've seen them, especially the last time I saw Ripley and Io, she takes bumps, man. She gets hurt. She's taking hard hits, and she's getting hurt a little bit. I remember I've seen the doctors come out and look at her a couple times. But I like kind of what they're doing with... That's Martinez, right? Going after the title, or hurting Io.
Oh yeah, Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'll be a good filler for when we get Io versus Raquel.
When we get that match, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a title change.
Yeah, we'll see a title change then. But we end the night with the Undisputed Era and Breezango. Yeah, I mean...
Nothing really there to say.
It's cool now you get to see Adam Cole teaming in with Strong. Because now, with the Dusty Cup a little different. Where you're not just Fish and Riley or, Fish and Strong or whatever. So now you get Fish and Cole. That's cool. I like that. Because Adam Cole, definitely needed something to do again before we give him a belt or move all 3 or 4 of them up eventually. But first you have to build stars before you take away the best thing you got, which is those 4 in the men's side at least.
Yeah, when you get rid of the Undisputed Era, that's really giving away some heavy artillery right there.
Yeah.
That's literally giving away that's giving away your best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There. That's really turning the keys over.
That's your A-Rod. That's your Derek Jeter right there. You can't give those 2 away.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Can.
Eventually you can, but not yet. So they need to... We can talk about... I'd like to do a whole thing about that. It's another episode, but... Yeah, but I'd like to see the Undisputed Era, eventually go up. But for now, this is... Like I said, this is cool. This is different. But also... Still, Kyle is still not cleared to do anything-ish. Still.
Well, I'm not surprised. They literally killed each other.
Yeah. But it's I don't know. It's crazy this match because it was still good. Of course, a lot of distraction stuff going on. Breezango looked good though. They were definitely taking over the Undisputed Era most of the match. They looked good. They were definitely putting them together. And Strong looked good too because we hadn't really seen Strong, wrestle good for a while either.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roddy has been a little bit off. Hadn't been much of anything after a while. I think you really hadn't heard much from Roddy this year, actually. So to see him wrestle, right, is pretty good. It's a treat. But I think there's something going on with the Undisputed ranks. Maybe something's going to happen. I don't know. Every time the Undisputed Era is in the Dusty Cup, it just seems like they either make history or something crazy happens.
What I think they're going to do here, like you said, they might make history or something crazy happens, but they also have the opportunity, and Triple H knows this, that they can put over someone else with the Undisputed Era. Like someone else can beat them this time around and put someone else over too.
Wouldn't it be funny if Killian Dane and Drake Maverick were in the finals?
Oh God, I love Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. That's funny as fuck. That's really funny. I like that. I got really good pictures of them. Thank you, Drake Maverick, for shouting me out. And he also saw the other picture I sent to him. I think it's funny what they're doing. I'm still a little stung from that storyline shit earlier this summer, but this is good what they're doing here. It's funny. It's a good comedy thing. You
can't deny that Drake is very entertaining.
Yeah. But I know and that's the end of NXT. I know we talked about what we want to do for the Dusty Cup. But for me, I want them. I don't remember everyone that's in this thing. I'm going to look it up now, but I want to see the Undisputed Era put over somebody as well.
Me too. It's the only noble thing to do.
Plus,
because
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. They've already won all the titles.
Yeah.
They've made history in NXT. They've done everything in NXT.
Yeah, they've everything. The only other thing that they can do now is just interchange the belt between the four of them, or have championship matches. Like Strong could be a champ eventually, something like that.
But
Fish could
what
get.
more do you have to?
Yeah, what else?
More do you have to prove? You know, and it's no shade to them because it would still be good. Interchange the belts, let someone else have another shot of it. Like, Bobby Fish become the NXT North American champion, Kyle O'Reilly be the NXT champion, Roddy and Adam Cole be the tag champions. I can see that happening. But at the same time, it's like they've done what they could do. What I want to see is them shake up the main roster on whatever show they go, preferably Monday Night Raw, have a Shield type thing, and just start banging it up there.
If they go to Raw, it will be a better transition for them because it'll be a better draw for Raw as well. But I kind of want to see them go to SmackDown too, just because of the talent that they could interact with there. But it would be better for them to go at Raw. Yeah.
The talent's a little more better on SmackDown. You are right. But again, cut the third hour. We'll be okay.
But going into the break here for us, we'll talk about the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. So we got Cole and Strong. They defeat Breezango with the super kick, and then they brawl afterwards with the Pat McAfee boys. And Finn comes out to make a save. We get a little Bullet Club thing going on here a little bit. Obviously, they can't throw up the Too Sweet because of the situation going on in the other Wednesday night show. And that sucks because I'd like to see them do that. OGBC for that reason. But so Breezango loses here, so Cole and Strong move on. We got Adonis and Troy and Nisa Davari. That didn't happen yet, right? No.
I'm sorry, what?
The next team we got Nisa and Davari versus Adonis and Troy.
Oh boy, they're not going anywhere.
And then we got Kushida and Ruff taking on Gargano and Theory. And then Grizzled Young Veterans won, MSK won, Maverick won with Killian. Then we have Imperium, which is in Lucha House Party, and then Phantasma won. I would love to see Phantasma win this thing as a fan. More like and honestly, I would love to see Cole and Strong take on Phantasma. Even if Phantasma doesn't win and they do give it to Cole and Strong again, that would be awesome to see that match. Even if that doesn't happen, still I think Phantasma should win somehow. If not, I can see them also doing... Unfortunately, I can see them Gargano and Theory winning as well. It just depends what's going to happen if Kushida and Ruff win. I don't know. What do you think about this? It's a weird cup this year.
It's a bigger field.
Yeah.
Than previous years. Thinking about the Phantasma boys, it's Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could be viable winners. Of course, everyone's pick will be Era because they're Undisputed Era. But, I mean, if I'm looking at it as underdog story, I'm looking at Drake Maverick and Killian Dane.
That'd be awesome, honestly.
Because I think that will push them. Because I think, honestly, it's one of those unique duos that you never thought would be a good tag team until they're actually together.
So we'll talk about the Women's Cup, too, next week as well.
Yeah, because the field is not...
Yeah.
The field is not complete.
And they announced as well that's happening, and then the Fight Pit match at the between Ciampa and Thatcher now going to take place on NXT, but we didn't get at New Year's Evil.
Right. Ooh, the fight pit. Right,
Yeah.
that's the last match Riddle had. It's interesting. Kurt Angle was the guest referee for that one, I remember.
Fight
Yeah,
pit
that
would be
fight
pretty
pit
cool
is
to
very
see, yeah.
interesting. But now with it being in the I was about to say the Thunderdome. Now with it being in the Capitol Wrestling Center, I think that'd be kind of cool. Give that more grungy look.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I liked, speaking of this, I did like the vignette they did with the two of them sitting down together, even though I can't understand a word Thatcher says, but I liked
Me
what they were
neither.
doing that. I like what they were doing there. It looked good, and it made Ciampa a little bit more evil looking as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was NXT. It was a good NXT, I guess. We'll look forward to the fight pit next week. There's nothing really too right home about. I mean, the boys, the Era, and the McAfee's boys fought afterwards, which is gonna get. I like that they're continuing to do that. It's good as well. And Pat McAfee just needs to come back to television. I think it's stop. I understand people are getting jealous, but like he's really good. So as soon as he comes back, keep him around because you're gonna. If you ruin this, that's gonna piss him off, and it's gonna be upsetting. He's already upset. He sent that tweet out on Christmas saying, "Oh, I get fired on Christmas." It's not necessarily I don't think that he's fired. It's just more of like he needs
We're putting you on the shelf.
putting you on the shelf for whatever.
For what?
Because he's
what?
good, and other people are mad that he's good, and that he's better than every single person on the mic there, and because he's just naturally good at talking.
Tough bananas.
Tough bananas, yeah. But
Tough bananas.
so we'll go. You want to go into break now, and then we'll come back, and we'll do. You want to do AEW first?
Yes, we'll come back and we'll do AEW.
So we'll take guys a 5-minute break ish. So we'll see you there. We'll be right back.
All right, guys.
All right, guys, welcome. All right, guys, well, welcome back to the Tag Out podcast. This is part 2 of the evening. We'll go ahead and get started. Jeremy, like I said earlier, if you guys are just joining us now or listening now, I did not have the opportunity to watch AEW this week. Just ran out of time, especially yesterday with the podcasts. Which you guys should head over to Enter the Gamer Actual. Every Thursday night at 9 o'clock, I record the Gamer Interrupted live, and I have anything from game designers to other podcasters, other game reviewers, Twitch streamers, and then also weekly review shows, kind of just like how me and Jeremy do. But in that version of that podcast, I just we talk the news about everything that's going on through the week, and our reactions to those topics, similar to here tonight. But Jeremy, you've got the floor for AEW.
First of all, I want to thank Sarah369, whoever you are, for interacting with us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Also, we have a big show coming up next week as well, too. Don't miss it. We're talking John Cena, Randy Orton. Big topic next week.
Women's match tomorrow night. Saturday. Women's episode tomorrow night. What time are we starting tomorrow night?
Women's episode tomorrow. I think we'll start around the same time, probably about 7:30 my time, so about 10:30 East Coast, 7:30 West Coast time.
Yes, sir.
So.
Yeah, you said not a very eventful New Year's Smash week 2?
No.
Huh, that's interesting.
I wouldn't say, I just wasn't so invested. It wasn't anything, it didn't have the spectacle, it didn't have the pop like it did last week for New Year's Smash Night 1. I mean, last week we had Snoop Dogg as a guest host last week. Just to me, just not too much going on. But we'll go down the list here and just right now, you start off the night with Pac and Eddie Kingston. In my opinion, Pac and Eddie Kingston, two of the baddest dudes.
Oh, hell yeah.
On that roster right now. I mean, my God, I'd never heard of Eddie Kingston until he got to AEW.
Let me say,
but my God, the guy.
Eddie is money. Eddie is so good. And I'm a little upset here. It might have just been me fanboying a little bit, but I'm a little upset that he didn't get the championship. But you need to hurry up and give that man a title soon because he's fucking good. And I love the character. It's relatable. It's everything that you've seen from from a guy who comes from that area of the country, fucking the New Yorker style. Fucking, he's good on the mic.
Yeah.
That promo he cut with Moxley when they were cutting, when he was talking about how they used to wrestle together and that he evolved into his character. Once again, it's the best when wrestlers are able to blur the line between real life and what's happening on television to them. In particular, I'm talking about Bray and John Cena. It's kind of similar thing here. History between that. But what happened? Moxley goes on to WWE and becomes what he becomes, champion and everything, and has an incredible career, and then comes over to AEW and the same thing. It was a very relatable story. I loved that. But I'm sorry we went off on a tangent here, but I know we didn't get to do it the other night, but it just reminded me of that Kingston, he's just so good. And he was like, do you think I had to become a liar? I had to become a cheat. I had to become all those things. And he's like, do you think I could even look in the... I heard the first time that he did it, they had to cut it because he said, I had to look in the fucking mirror anymore. But this time, well, obviously on TV you can't say fucking, but he said, you think I could even look at myself in the mirror anymore? That was good. And he just continues, every one that he's in the ring with, Pac included, he just continues to be good with everyone. You got a star there at Eddie Kingston, and it goes to show that you don't have to look like Seth Rollins to be a star. You can look like Eddie Kingston, like a guy. If I would have met Eddie on the street, I would have thought that he was just some dude from
normal guy.
Yeah, and I love that he's also portraying that at the same time. He just kind of is.
He's just real.
Yeah.
I think that's what you can admire about Eddie Kingston. He's not some cookie cutter guy that's going to be a cookie cutter corporate guy.
Yeah.
He's just a guy that's just real and real passionate about what he does. And, he'll die for professional wrestling. And it's
the
just
passion is there for real.
Oh, yeah. And you could see that in the world title match. I mean, if you would have told me that him and Moxley would put on probably a barbaric I Quit match, that right there made me an Eddie Kingston fan. But,
Yes.
you know, but not much that match, to be honest with you. You know, Butcher, Blade were in that match. You know, you had some interferences from Butcher and Blade, and then in comes Lance Archer.
Okay.
You know, yeah. Lance Archer's in there. Let's see. I have my notes here somewhere. See. I can remember certain things. Like I said, if I'm not invested, I can't say too much. But yeah, the Butcher and the Blade and all of them had a like a little interaction, little fight. So, but anyway, but they all stood tall. The Pac and Ray Phoenix and all of them. What are they called again? I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember.
Death Triangle or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, it's just Lance Archer's pretty good too.
Yeah, I like him.
I think
he's
good. Pretty good. Yeah, I think he's going more into I don't know. It's kind of hard because AEW has a bit of the same problem when they change characters. Like, where are you going? I think he's going for more of a not so much heel anymore. I think he's going for a baby face. I'm not sure where he's going. It's kind of hard because he's kind of, I call it wrestling purgatory, you know. After the TNT championship match they had with Cody, it's kind of like now I don't know where to go with Lance Archer, you know.
Yeah, it seems like people are confused on what he's doing here a little bit.
Yeah, and I like the association with him and Jake Roberts, but it's you know, too many of these legends being managers to these guys. It's kind of like, you know, is it a really good match? Is it a distraction? Because sometimes I can see it being a distraction. I think Jake Roberts is more of a distraction of Lance Archer than he is, you know, than he is helping. Even though Jake is still good at promos, it's just, you know. But next we go on to Miro and Chuck Taylor. So the week before, Chuck Taylor agreed to be Miro's butler.
Right.
Right. if he lost to Miro. But,
it's funny. It's funny.
It's very. It's a bit eye rolling. It's good. You know what I mean? It's sophomoric, but it's like it fits to their personalities.
Right.
But I mean, they had they went in, had a rematch. Nothing much to say there. I think what they're trying to do is Orange Cassidy versus Miro at Revolution at some point. I think that's what they're moving more towards. Like I said, nothing too exciting on that one. But Miro and his character, he's going back to the old school Rusev with being dominant in his matches.
Yep. And I like that. I like to see that too, because Rusev, he's just that's what he's supposed to be. I mean, Miro, I'm sorry, he's supposed to be that strong guy thing. So when they took that away from him, it's kind of like, huh, what are you doing here? So I'm glad that AEW is exploring that, and thank God for fucking the best friends in Orange Cassidy. They're so fucking mint.
God bless those men.
God bless Orange Cassidy. He can do no wrong.
No.
He's so good, and you draw a cloud just from putting hands in your pockets and being a mute character. When he came out over the summer or I think that was that when they have the casino ladder match, when he came out and he was like, "How do I win this match?" That was funny. He's a good character, but at the same time, when he fires up in the ring, that's really good too. Him and Jericho is good. Thank God for them, dude. They're so good, and the street fight too. Chuck Taylor and remind me his name, the partner, the other guy. Trent, yeah, when that street fight they had with the Inner Circle, that was fucking incredible. So these guys are good too, and this is just the beginning for them. Well, they've been in the Indies forever, especially Cassidy, but just the beginning of them now.
Yeah, I mean, Orange is on his way. Let me just say that Orange is sooner better than later. Will have some gold around his waist eventually.
Right.
The best friends will definitely be tag team champions no matter what.
I can't wait
but
for
I just
that.
love what they're. Oh, me too. But and I followed them in Japan when they were up in Japan. Trent was up in Japan, and Chuck Taylor was down in Japan. They were good then too, but yeah, not much there. Just a light build up to probably what might be a tag, probably a one-on-one match between Miro and Orange, or probably a tag team, probably probably a tag team match or something that's going to happen. I'm not sure. But moving on, the Inner Circle has very little program. The Inner Circle, we're talking about their New Year's resolutions. That's something you will have to watch. I think if you can watch anything out of Dynamite, I think that's the one segment you should watch. They're going, discussing their New Year's resolutions. Sammy Guevara, they're just trying to. What am I trying to say? Sorry.
No problem.
I'm trying to remember things. I'm not as good as Austin's guys at remembering things. It's this old noggin. But Jericho and MJF are kind of gelling a little more now. I think they're wanting to go for the tag titles here coming up soon.
I just wish that they figure something out. It seems a little stale sometimes with the MJF stuff now. Like I kind of wanted to like hurry up down the road a little bit because the Wardlow Hager thing was not as eventful as we thought it was going to be, especially.
No, but it is steaming up because if you look at their card, every wrestler has like a little card, that has their name and their stats.
Right. If
you look at their, and I saw this on Twitter and I didn't even realize it, on the title card when the Inner Circle was coming out, it said Demogrod, Chris Jericho, and MJF with Inner Circle. So what a slap in the face. It's not like the Inner Circle, it's Chris Jericho and MJF with the Inner Circle. That's something they're trying to tie those bonds together. But Santana and Ortiz were kind of like not happy about that because they're like, well, we're the tag team of the Inner Circle, we're the best, and it's kind of funny too. I think Santana or Ortiz said one of my New Year's resolutions is to get my frijoles recipe, my mama's frijoles recipe down. That's kind of funny. And that just goes to show they're so entertaining at the same time. But then Sammy Guevara, there's a dynamic to Sammy Guevara because I think eventually, in my opinion, Sammy is probably going to break away from the Inner Circle. I'm thinking because that's what it looks like. But he was telling Chris Jericho that he's kind of like a tag team slut.
Tag team slut.
Yes. So what I mean by that, he's like he goes from partner to partner. Every time, like he's trying to find different partners, and then that kind of like put some friction in between the Inner Circle. You know what I mean? And so next week they're going to have like a triple threat tag team match. It's going to be Jericho and MJF versus Santana Ortiz and Guevara and Hager.
What the hell?
Am I getting boring?
What is going on here? What the fuck? Huh? Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. But Skull Root rated us with 3. Party of 3. Thank you, Skull.
All right.
Thank you all for joining in Skull's raid as well.
But anyway, there's just a little frictions going on in the Inner Circle, of course. But they're going to have like a triple threat tag team match next week to prove who's the better, who'll be the tag team of the Inner Circle.
Guys, we've got also Nasty Leroy in the chat. Nasty Time 215. How you doing?
Nasty?
Nasty Leroy. He's the mayor of Pound Town. That man, Nasty. He's a part of the Nightmare family. Hello, the captain now. Thank you for that follow as well. I appreciate that. How y'all doing tonight?
Well, I guess we're doing something right over here.
Thank y'all for joining us tonight. Earlier we did Raw and NXT. Now we're talking AEW. I didn't have a chance to see it this week, but Jeremy is filling me in on everything that happened and what's going on.
Yep, and I was just getting done talking about the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, and everybody and their little friction that they're having, and leading up to the triple threat tag team match that they're going to have next week on Dynamite. So I see it kind of breaking apart. Not so much interesting going on in the next match. We have the Elite, which is Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, and the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega versus these new guys of Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., and Danny Limelight.
I love Brian Pillman Jr., by the way. I think he's mint.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
He's great.
He's good. Griff Garrison's pretty good too, but he's been on those dark episodes, which I don't really catch so often.
I didn't ask you earlier, before we get any further though, with the MJF, the Inner Circle thing, what was your favorite New Year's resolution that they...
The frijoles.
Frijoles, yeah. I figured that was fun. Yeah. Yeah.
I love those guys. Santana Ortiz is really fun. They're Proud and Powerful, to be honest, one of my favorite tag teams in the entire AEW division. They don't... I hope one day that they get another shot at the tag titles or something like that, because it's a shame that as talented as they are, they're not getting that much of attention. So that's just my criticism to AEW. But anyway,
it's awesome though to see the fucking, first of all, the band back together, and also what they're doing here at the AEW, and Impact is cool. I love that. And also
the crossover.
Yeah, and then I love how they included Tony Khan there too. When I looked back and saw that footage, I thought that was cool. That was really clever as well. But what's awesome also to see the Elite, everybody in gold, over here in the States. That's awesome. You can see the Bucks and Omega dripped in gold. It looks good.
Yeah, what Austin's alluded to, guys, is if you're not too familiar, it's the original Bullet Club, and it's kind of its bare bones. They're here stateside. They reunited a couple weeks ago on AEW Dynamite. They had the Young Bucks. Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, Kenny Omega reunite. They threw up the Too Sweet sign. So if you guys are not, familiar with that, get familiar, because you're about to see some magical stuff in the next
real magical
several weeks. I mean, you guys it's going to make you be appreciative of being a wrestling fan for the first time in a long time. Not much there, to be honest.
It's awesome too, because now a lot of the indie fans that watch AEW, because everyone knows there's a shitload of indie fans that watch AEW, and everyone that was a big NJPW fan in the last few years that watch AEW.
Yeah.
This is really cool to see that, because it's now everyone now gets to watch this play out, and a little bit of a fucking nerd fantasy, if you will, kind of playing out on TNT here. It's something I didn't see, something I thought would have happened in WWE a long time ago, and I'm surprised that it didn't in some capacities, that they had opportunities to do other stuff with the club and things like that. But it's interesting to see this now, because you have the actual the good foundation of the Bullet Club, which is Omega and the Bucks.
In almost its original form, not quite its original form, but the variation of it is there.
Right.
It's very, very there. So, buckle your seat. I tell people this all the time. Buckle your seatbelts for these segments, because I think in the next few months we're going to see some magical segments. Yeah. Probably some magical matches, magical moments that we haven't seen. But Jon Moxley comes back to Daly's place, back to AEW Dynamite, and just Moxley, he wants to get right down to business, but then after a while, when Moxley gets his licks in on Kenny Omega, Gallows and Anderson come in and just beat the dog piss out of him. But and then they had the whole locker room come out. They were getting in. Then Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley were getting to brawl. And the locker room came out, and Moxley was still beating on him. I think the Lucha Bros came out there too, and they were going towards the Lucha Bros were get into a brawl with Matt and Nick Jackson. So I think they're going to have a match together, which I think will be pretty cool. I think probably they're going to be the next challengers for the title. But that's about it. Just ending in chaos.
Skull Root, the Skull Root in the chat says that was funny what Kenny pulled on the Young Bucks during this Dynamite.
Yeah.
The captain now, he says, when you don't watch wrestling, you have no idea what these people are talking about, but you listen anyways. Well, thank you for your support and streaming around the captain now.
At least you're listening.
Yeah, and I guess, we'll hopefully educate you a little bit, especially when our Saturday episodes, man. If those are the ones that you want to know about wrestling, that's when we dig deep into stuff,
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow night's episode, we're going to dive deep into the women's divisions of WWE, and then we've got stuff coming up like Cena and Orton. I want to do Undertaker 1, WWE Creative 1, all kinds of stuff to look forward to. But
I think we packed ourselves for the next month.
Also, Jeremy, the captain now comes by my WWE streams and watches me play the game as well, and that's really cool. Thank you for doing that as well.
That's nice.
Shout outs to those guys. Shout out to Skull as well. Skull is the OG fan of Skull Root there. He's the OG fan of my WWE streams. He's OG SmackDown and Nitro fan. So thanks for coming around there too, fam. Anyways, yeah. So AEW, ends. What are your opinions there? On the end of AEW, everything coming to an end there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think there was a couple matches still left. I mean, Jurassic Express versus FDR, that was not so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt, but it's just, I don't know, it was okay. I didn't quite care for it. Then we have Serena Deeb and Tay Conti, which put me on. Tay Conti actually did pretty good in this match. It was for the NWA Women's World Title. Pretty decent. Tay Conti's a really good wrestler. WWE lost a big one, and they should be ashamed of themselves, to be honest. And then let's get to the real meat and potatoes of the night. Darby Allin versus Brian Cage for the TNT title. 98% of that whole match, Austin, and you have to go back to watch it, was a squash. I mean, literally Brian Cage was throwing Darby Allin everywhere. I mean, there was this insane spot where Brian Cage threw Darby Allin over his head into the table, into the announcer's table, not where Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone sit, but where
they keep
Justin Roberts, the ring in the timekeeper's area.
Timekeeper,
actually.
yeah.
So he threw him into, and eventually in the match, Darby was bloody. Eventually, Sting came out, and because Ricky Starks was going to get involved in the match, but Sting came out and handled that. And
so you were Darby, right about that. That yes, Sting was going to help out a little bit with Darby. It looked like.
Yeah, but you're talking about a match where it's 100-pound weight difference.
Yep.
Probably more. The strength advantage definitely goes to Brian Cage. So.
He's just, and the nickname for him fits so well. He's the machine. It's like they made him into a damn factory. He's AEW's action figure. If you think about it, he's he's muscle. He's the dude. He's fucking, He
has muscles on top of muscles.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Cage is a big. I met Brian Cage used to come to Vegas all the time when he was in Impact Wrestling, and also there's a local promotion here in Las Vegas that he used to wrestle for as well. So he would pass by the casino, and man, I'm shocked that those shirts even fit him, because one bad move or one move, man, and that shirt will combust. Not rip, combust. That's how big he is in muscles. So, I mean, he's tough. But Darby pulled out the win at the last minute. But I love Darby Allin. I've told you that before. Darby is where he needs to be. He reminds me so much of Jeff Hardy. Reminds me so much of when Jeff Hardy came into the singles competition.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
that
that's
darn
definitely
good.
that.
The artistic side, his artistic side, it's just so reminiscent. I wish Jeff was in AEW because I can see a mix with him and Darby Allin.
Yeah.
So, but that's it for AEW Dynamite. Not too much. It wasn't too much of a jam-packed show. That they did have that segment called the Waiting Room with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with Cody Rhodes as the guest. I mean, it was just a bunch of drama. That big buff lady, what's that lady's name? Jade, whatever her name is.
Right.
The one that Brandy Rhodes told off. She was like, who told you this was open mic night? But, she said, if Brandy ever does come back, I'm going to beat that ass. And then all of a sudden, Red Velvet, she's a new women's wrestler, came in, and they got into a brawl and whatnot. So that's
well, AEW, they definitely fooled me a little bit with the cage match because I thought that Bryan was going to walk out that champ, but we know that something's setting up here later too, probably what we talked about with Sting, so there's probably some other stuff going on there too. But I definitely thought that if this was a time, I thought Cage was going to come out as the champ, but maybe we just don't know with all this. AEW can do so much with these stories, and they have so much creative freedom to do so much right now. Like, they have so much talent. It's like they're sitting on the edge of your seat with all this fresh talent. You got Cage and Archer and everyone that you're looking at, Miro, everyone you're looking at is going to be future champions whenever that day may be, when Omega's done and things like that. So any of these guys would be wonderful, would be awesome to see champs. So it's cool to see what they're doing here and watching their characters play out like this, and almost like maturing a little bit as they're getting ready to be the stars of AEW.
Right. Well, with Omega, you better pack a lunch because he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
Because Omega, I think he's going to hold, but Omega might be a multiple title holder because he might face Rich Swann one day and get the Impact World title. His good friend Kota Ibushi is now the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion. That's another match that could happen. Oh, I hope that does happen. I think that's a real dream match, though, thinking about it. Kota Ibushi, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's in New Japan. Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega. They were once the Golden Lovers. That's history right there. That's a good story.
It is a good story.
Kenny Omega to go back home to Japan and challenge for the heavyweight title and the Intercontinental title. That would be a dream match. Oh my God, I don't think people understand how big that match would be. That's a big stage, but I think that's at Pandemic's end, hopefully, when people can travel. You need people. But anyway, that's AEW in a nutshell. What's next? SmackDown?
Yeah, so we're going over to SmackDown now. So we open the show. They talk about Nick Nakamura. He's out there cutting promo with Uso. They're kind of talking back and forth, joking a little bit. Nakamura is playing on. I like that he plays on that slow, I can't really speak English thing. He's doing that again a little bit, but not as annoying last time. This time it's a little it's funny actually. But they Roman Reigns was basically, Heyman was trying to fix the contract that Reigns had set up for the Universal Championship against Pierce at the Rumble. And he's basically they're yelling at Pierce, telling him wait till you see what awaits for you at the Rumble, and that you should be thanking the family for WWE's success and SmackDown's success. So that's cool too, because they are kind of nudging a little bit that they are doing a little bit better than Raw. I like that. That's kind of funny. But Jay says that he wants to go to Monday Night Raw after he wins the Rumble, and he would take the championship from McIntyre so that the Usos and basically the Anoa'i family would run WWE, and Nakamura called him that at that point. Then Reigns would be the big dog, and Nakamura called him the Usos puppy, the Uso puppy. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But they let Jay, play more to his natural, comeback side and natural. Oh, okay, all right, son. That's how I want to be side. So I like that. That's always been the strongest part of the Uso characters when they broke away from the face paint and let them be more of who they are.
Yeah.
So it's good that they're continuing to do that. But I don't know, man. This is the great thing with Roman Reigns. They're doing such a good thing here. They're telling a good story. He's a great heel. The head of the table thing is awesome. It's also giving Paul Heyman had a little bit more mic time and a little bit more character time this time. He's not just standing around.
Yeah.
He's talking a lot more through SmackDown as well.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think? And also Nakamura, it looks like they're putting up, maybe setting up Nakamura to come back into the picture, which is good. This is a good push again for Nakamura too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking because I'm kind of reading the results as you're talking here. I heard from what I'm reading on Twitter right now, Nakamura has his old theme song back.
Yeah.
So that's a start.
Yeah, definitely a start.
A definite start. So I think they're probably putting him back. I think they're doing something special with him, putting him back in singles competition again in a very, very effective way like he was in 2018, and 2018 and prior. So I think that's a good start.
Well, and it's interesting
it's a really good start
that you bring that up too, because now, Cesaro's out there with him, but they're also allowing Cesaro to also do some singles competition work as well, because they announced later in the night was Cesaro versus Bryan, which when I get to that, we'll talk about that. But the end of this match ends with Uso trying to cheat his way in the end. Robinson catches him, and then Nakamura delivers another Kinshasa, knocks him out, and he wins. Nakamura wins here. So,
yeah.
But there was definitely, it was interesting to see this Uso versus Nakamura. It was different. It was a good opening to SmackDown, I thought.
Yeah, it was good. From reading about it, I haven't watched it yet, but it's pretty solid to have a match like that to start SmackDown.
Yeah, and they're definitely trying to drive the wedge between Nakamura and Cesaro, because I think honestly that was just them putting them together for sake of we don't know what else to fucking do right now kind of thing. So now we finally get the two of them to split up in a good way. It was a good time, but fucking this next match, the next shit that happens brings me back to the point that I made earlier when we were talking about Raw, that WWE, and which will continue tomorrow night, WWE just rips apart women tag teams just to put them up with other tag teams. I'm now talking about Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. They take off Billie Kay from Peyton Royce and put her with the Riot Squad. It's strange. She's like hanging out with the Riot Squad, and she's like trying to dress like them, and it's fucking weird. And this is also shitty because Liv Morgan and fucking Ruby Riot can just never catch a break, because now you got this focus on this weird comedic bullshit again.
You can go so many routes with Ruby Riot and Liv Morgan. You could have pulled the most successful singles run for Liv Morgan when she was on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
They don't know. They look at the women like they're something else.
And then they go ahead and release that Liv Morgan documentary just to hype her up again. For what? Why did you do that? Because you're not going to push her.
Gal.
Yeah, she's a breakout.
She is a wonderful gal. I love when they were together, when the original Riot Squad was together with Sarah Logan, Ruby Riot and Liv Morgan, when she played that. Liv Morgan played the little Harley Quinn character.
Yep.
Oh, or it wasn't really Harley Quinn, but she had the blue tongue and everything. I like that. Why change that? It's
because what they tried to change her character and make her that grown-up image, and then you sent her right back into a now hybrid version of both. But you you don't, like you said, you don't know how good you got it with Liv Morgan. Like, give her the opportunity to shine, and she's gonna light up the room. She draws a crowd, and I'm not saying that anything to do with her appearance at all. She draws a crowd of the fact that she's fun to watch. She's entertaining, and she's a good wrestler, and she has
and
the fun that she has is also displayed in the ring.
yeah.
And also in the times that she's serious wrestling as well, because you can tell that she's out there having a good time. You can tell when wrestlers are enjoying what they're doing, and Liv Morgan, you can tell, enjoys what she's doing. And I think that's because she's grateful for what she's doing. She's one of the wrestlers that doesn't have the shit so far up their ass that they're egotistical.
Yeah.
She's very, very grateful for the opportunity that she has right now. She's always expressed that, and that's why I've always been a fan of Liv.
I think she should have been a women's champion when she was on Raw. I think they should have executed that from the get-go, to be honest. If you're going to go ahead and hype her up and rebrand her, repackage her, and do all that, don't waste your time, don't waste your money. Execute it. Execute that vision. And I hate that with the creative team, is that they don't really do that.
Yeah.
You package people, you spend all this money on vignettes and commercials and they boost up merchandise, but yet again they don't do anything with them.
Going to the comments.
They're worse off.
Going to the comments, Skull, going back, he mentions, I don't know why they don't push Cesaro. Skull, we'll talk about that later. They do. We'll get to that comment. I'll let you know, but the fans, they do love him. The wrestlers, they do love him too. He does work, and like you say, we'll talk about that. And yes, Captain, I see you commenting. Thank you. That's funny. But if there is someone to be a fan of, be a big Cesaro fan, especially after tonight, Jeremy. Let me tell you, and Captain, let me tell you. But yeah, like you said, they ruin this shit. So they put the three of them together. It's just annoying. And then here we go again. Natalya and Tamina, like I said, pushed fucking. Like you said earlier in the podcast, fucking Vince McMahon. Oh, you pick a card, any card. Who's putting them together? Oh, yeah, okay, yep. This guy's going with him. This guy's going with that. And
oh my God, these poor ladies.
Yeah, fucking Natalya. She says she's the boat. I think that's strange. I don't like that. The
best of all time, because
boat,
everybody, Chris Jericho has the goat. So many other people have it or something. The boat.
Well, she wins by your favorite move, though, the roll-up, so.
Oh, my God, what a cheap.
So it's not good. This was bad. Don't do this again. It was really bad. Don't do it again.
I hate the roll-up.
Figure it the fuck out, WWE, when it comes to this kind of shit, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow night. For sure. But,
cheap.
You're losing your women fast. That's all I can say until tomorrow night. But
cheap.
Next, we've got Corbin and Mysterios. Both the Mysterios. Dominic goes out for commentary.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So this is the same. Honestly, when I was watching this, I was like, this is just a replay of Rollins and Mysterio, but just a different guy, just a different punk rock guy. This is the same thing. He's over there beating up on Ray. Dominic's behind him, but obviously we're probably going to lead up to Dominic and Corbin. Back? Yeah, so obviously we're probably going to lead up to Dominic and Corbin, but do you really think Corbin's going to lose to Dominic? I don't fucking... Who is the proper person for Dominic to be put over right now? Because I don't know. It's awkward.
Nobody, because he's very, very
fresh. It's too baby. He needed to do... They did this wrong. You sent him... He needed to do this the right way and learn this shit from the bottom at NXT. He needed to do that. I'm not saying that he's not talented, doesn't know what he's doing, but shoving him on SmackDown in front of everyone and on honestly the better show and putting him in all these pay-per-view level matches, and then those fucking the basically that initiation, if you will, into when they beat the living fuck out of him with the kendo sticks. The kid's not ready for this shit yet, and he's not ready on commentary either. Fucking. And but
I just think, with Dominic Mysterio, he did I'll go to SummerSlam and probably I'll stop there. But when he debuted at SummerSlam against Seth Rollins, he did prove himself. I think he stood his ground.
Yeah.
Wasn't the greatest match of all time, but he could hang. And I think that's what they could see is that, okay, at least if he can hang, he can, he can be with us. You know what I mean? But he does need some brushing up to do. You know what I mean? Will he be a world champion? Will he be a mid-card champion? Will he be a tag champ? We don't know. Well, he does need some extra practice. But he is going, from what I can read, he is going, when he goes home to California, he does go to wrestling school.
Yeah, yeah.
So he is brushing up. So he does realize that. That's why he's not really on TV. And now he's moving to Florida because I think he's going to be training more at the Capital Wrestling Center or the Performance Center, whatever you call it now.
But yeah, so
the guy's going to be great.
Yeah, he just needs a little bit more time. Yeah, he just needs to get himself accustomed to the water. But this is not. I don't think this is the right way to do it because now you've got Dominic. I mean, Ray loses to Corbin, and then Corbin now beats the hell out of Dominic on the outside real quick, blasts him with a hit, and then you're probably going to set up Dominic and Corbin. But is it just going to be another Corbin beat the shit out of Dominic match, or is this going to be actually the time for Dominic put over Corbin? And it's weird because now you get Corbin out of the King shit. And he's still in the King shit, but you get him away from that King of the Ring full on character. Now it's let him just be King Corbin in a different way, but it's giving him a fresh light. But you don't want him to fall, like I said, into that same thing that happened with with Rollins and the Mysterios.
Yeah, you don't want to go back into that story at all.
No,
I think it's already been done. I don't think it's even finished, to be honest. Because Seth left, but I mean, I let's just not. It's just something else.
Yeah.
I really do want to answer Captain Now's question. Well, if any of y'all know Star Wars, would you be a Sith, Jedi, or Grey Jedi? And I say I would be a Sith. I don't know why. I've always been intrigued by Sith. I know that's totally off wrestling. I really had to answer that question.
Me, I would answer for the gray, definitely, with the the combination of both with being with that. But I am a big Star Wars fan, Captain. If you'd like to see, I do have half a Star Wars sleeve, Darth Maul and all kinds of stuff, and I'm adding to it as well, putting Mandalorian stuff on it. But I'm a huge Star Wars fan. If you like Star Wars, Captain, definitely come by the Enter the Gamer actual channel and hear our podcast. We talked a lot about Star Wars last night, but every Thursday we talk a lot of Star Wars.
When I get down to Florida, let's go to Galaxy's Edge.
Hell yeah.
Let's go to Disney World.
Captain says, yeah, Florida, my home state. Yeah, I love Florida, man. Florida's a good time. But Skull says, I don't know if Dominic really fits NXT. I mean, yeah, that is true, but
that is true.
He still, if they put him there, they could have done something,
It's mainly Skull Root. It's mainly for training purposes, I think.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's get to what's going on with Cesaro? Keep talking about Cesaro.
Before we get to that, there was one more segment in between, and it was strange. Because now Bailey has a talk show called Ding Dong Hello. I'm not playing with you. Where she's kind of like a mixture of Oprah, Ellen kind of thing going on. That kind of style talk show. Fuck me, do we need any more talk shows? But I mean, it's interesting to see this coming from Bailey, but of all people.
And what was it called? Ding Dang?
Ding Dong Hello.
Oh, heavens.
Yeah, and the first guest was Bianca Belair, who is kick-ass, by the way. I fucking love her.
My pick to win the Women's Royal
Yes,
Rumble.
I was going to say the same thing. Let her win the Rumble. Fuck me. Let her win the Rumble. She's so damn good. God damn it.
So how did that go?
It was just fucking... it was just weird. It was okay, I guess. She was explaining why she's the EST... like she always does. And I guess they also mentioned that she's got a documentary coming out too, which I'm probably gonna watch regardless. But
Who does?
Belair does. She has a documentary coming out on the network.
Oh, I would so watch it. I
Yeah.
love her.
So they talked about that. Uh, Bailey finally she ends the thing basically saying they're gonna fight next week. But it was just weird. It was a weird, awkward debut of the show because and I say that because it's been weird watching talk shows now in WWE without the fans present because there's not that interaction, So they're making it up with other scripted shit. So it's a little uncomfortable a little bit. And
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with Skull. Yeah, Firefly Funhouse is the best talk show. Yeah, but is that really a talk
If
show
you
though? If you
consider it
consider it that, but yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. If you can consider it that, but it's a good segment.
Segment,
for sure.
yeah. But with an actual talk show, Skull, the best ones I can think of, obviously my favorite growing up, I'd have to say was, what was Jericho's called? With the Jeritron? I can't remember.
The highlight reel.
The highlight reel with Chris Jericho. I loved that one. Cutting Edge was good.
Cutting Edge.
Who else is? I like A Moment of Bliss. It was good for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was all right out of the female ones, I guess. But
when Roddy Piper was alive,
the Piper's Pit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked also when we were a little bit younger too the MVP one. Back, I don't really liked it this time around. The lounge, whatever they call it, the MVP lounge.
The VIP lounge.
I didn't like it this time around, but when we
yeah.
were younger, when he was United States champion forever, I remember that. But when he was U.S. champ forever, it was good then.
The bad guys.
Yeah,
back in those days.
And that talk show was good too because it really painted him as as the bad guy. But yeah, finally moving on, kind of to like the meat and the potatoes of the night, really, with the show. Daniel Bryan and Cesaro stole it definitely here. They took it for they wrestled, and it was really good. Some really good technical exchange between the two of them. And Bryan is doing so well, finally putting over. Not finally, I'm saying like they're letting Bryan put over people that are necessarily needed to put over, and that's awesome because he's there in that part of his career where he's doing that. But of course, we definitely want to see Bryan into the picture as well as champion again too. That would be good. Maybe a nice Intercontinental Champion run with Bryan eventually too would be interesting as well. But fucking Cesaro got hurt in the match though a little bit. Something happened here, hit the head, cut himself, blood was pouring a little bit. Cesaro, man, he always is good at selling. He's trying to for the entertainment. He's always hurting himself sometimes. You remember what happened to his teeth?
Oh my gosh, I remember. I think it was a few years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago.
And he put a picture on Instagram or Twitter. I'm like, oh snap.
Yeah.
That had to hurt. Cause he didn't lose his teeth. His teeth pushed in, didn't
Pushed into the gums. Yeah.
Oh.
So
God,
he's unfortunately now he's cut to the side of the head here, unfortunately. But
okay.
It was the rest of the match was good. We got to see Bryan with the knee. Cesaro put him in the Cesaro swing and the sharpshooter. When he put him in the swing, my heart dropped for about a half a second. It was in my asshole for a minute because I'm so scared of Daniel Bryan getting hit in the head. And I'm pretty sure if Daniel Bryan's his neurologist was watching that, he probably wasn't happy of that either.
Well, probably he was sweating bullets.
Yeah, so you put him in the swing, and you could tell, honestly, you could little bit tell that Cesaro was nervous to do it too, because and Bryan was holding the back of his head, thank God, but you could tell Cesaro this was gonna be the safest Cesaro swing that you've ever seen, and going back to what Skullroot said earlier in the chat, he said he is one of the safest wrestlers to work with. He is because he's very technically sound, Cesaro.
Yeah,
he's so technically sound, and that allows him to be that good. Yeah, unlike Nia Jax, fucking goddamn it. But yeah, every time just make sure that no one hurts Daniel, please. He's a very precious human being. I don't want to see another. Guys, this is it for Daniel Bryan. But yes, like I said, Cesaro put him in this safe swing. Yeah, I should say that. So the safe swing, and Cesaro picks up the win here, bro.
Jeez.
He hits him with the neutralizer after the running knee, and this is just awesome because now Cesaro, they have this awesome match. And now Cesaro and Nakamura separate. They're both able to fucking go into the world title picture. Brian, like I said, putting over everybody, and now like you can take this as Cesaro's one of like the biggest wins that he's had in a long time, because now this is like elevated now. Like he put this over on Brian.
That is very good news to hear.
Yeah.
For both Nakamura and for both Cesaro.
Yeah.
I just hope that they keep that momentum going.
So do I. Yeah, definitely.
Because that would be time well wasted if they did not. And I would be very, very upset at the WWE if they did not continue. Because right now you're looking at two of the greatest performers that they have on that roster, if not in the entire rosters between Raw and SmackDown. Cesaro's time as a champion has always been there.
Yep.
For me.
And the same for Nakamura as well, because we all thought that eventually the belt was going to drop from AJ to Nakamura, and that never happened.
And you know what though? The thing is the language barrier.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were very afraid that because Nakamura is not very good at English, his English is not that great. They were afraid of him, because you have to do interviews as world champion and all that. But I'm like, that's what translators are for.
Yeah. Nakamura, he was a superstar. He was a king in Japan. The man was a god. And
they revered him.
When he came over here, and that translated to, like you said, they revered him. That translated here in the ring, but like you said, maybe it was the issue with the language, but the time is now for both of them, is like you said. But he was a god, Jeremy. They loved him, worshipped him in Japan.
Oh my God, he was like Michael Jackson, or I look at those New Japan matches, and those people go nuts for him. Yeah. Nakamura in Japan. He was the guy.
Everybody doing this. Everyone doing the good vibration. Everyone doing that.
And when he got to WWE, when he got to NXT, him in that match between him and Sami Zayn stands out as one of the best wrestling matches I've seen. It was so good. I don't know if you watched NXT TakeOver Dallas, but that match between those two in 2016 made me a huge Nakamura fan.
No, I was deployed during that time, yeah.
Even if they don't achieve it now, at this very moment, to be champions, I think WrestleMania, it'll be great for them. Yeah. I think this will be a breakout WrestleMania performance for the both of them. I would love to see a singles match between Cesaro and Nakamura.
I think they might build to that eventually. I hope they do, because that would be a shame if they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, you can go 10 miles a Tuesday with those guys. But I'm very pleased to hear that Cesaro and Nakamura got wins, especially Cesaro.
SmackDown's building new stars. That's what they're doing. They're doing a good job at doing that as well.
But the thing is, Cesaro's not new.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But the time should have been a long time ago. I agree with you. But they're unfortunately now it seems like they're new because they never got the opportunity to come into that kind of limelight.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm just reading the comments here. I think this is your automatic comment. We don't stay off the grass in the street. Make sure you took. I don't have any.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But if you guys have some out there, feel free. I don't really do it. Maybe I'll buy edibles one day. But anyway, but I'm very pleased. I hope
I'm pleased too.
It's a WWE champion. Make him win the Royal Rumble, maybe.
Well,
maybe the Royal Rumble.
Speaking of other pushes too, with newer stars that aren't new, Apollo Crews on that list. I would have to add to that as well. Crews,
very much.
Crews was hanging out backstage with Roman.
Yeah,
that was cool. I liked that. That was nice. And
oh really?
Yeah. Well, so then Heyman walks in to tell Roman, hey, we're gonna try and change the match like you wanted it to a last man standing with Pierce. and Apollo gets up to stand up, and Reigns tells him, no, sit down, you're going to want to hear this. So maybe it's something like Apollo's coming in on the Heyman guy, they might be doing something there too, like trying to get Heyman, or not Heyman, trying to get Apollo up, because Apollo, basically now Apollo goes out and he wrestles Sammy, and he puts Sammy loses, and Sammy's out there with his documentary crew, and he's focused on that. But Apollo cheats to win. Apollo cheats to win, and
Kidding.
no, Apollo cheats to win. He grabs the tights. Rolls them up with the tights, and flashes Sammy's ass to the camera. Most of Sammy's butt crack is now seen on Fox. Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, they'll be happy about that one.
First of all, that's another roll-up finish again now on SmackDown.
Well, you don't
And
need finishers anymore. Just roll them up.
yeah,
You'll
so instead of the usual
I
finish
hate
that we see
roll-ups.
with Cruz, we see him cheating to win now. And
I hate roll-ups.
but I like a heel Cruz. I think a heel Cruz is the best Cruz.
Associated with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, yes.
Well, him and Big E, they argue afterwards, and they do that thing where, like, I'm talking about, like that smile arguing where two guys are smiling like they're gonna fight. They're smile arguing. They're like, okay, yeah.
It's like,
all right
I'm
now,
trying
bro.
to keep my cool, man.
Yeah, bro.
I'm trying to keep
You
my
can
cool.
come for me next week, bro. And that was really good. It looked really real between them. It looked really good. So kudos to that. That looked really nice. But they're gonna get the IC championship match next week.
Well, I'm very pleased with SmackDown. Let me just say, even though I didn't watch it, that's good.
Yeah, that was the last wrestling match for the night, though. That was kind of disappointing because I would have done that before Cesaro Bryan. I would have done Cesaro Bryan and then the ending segments, but nonetheless, we still get IC title match, and if he's possibly aligning himself with Reigns, so that's a cool inclusion into the story too. I like that.
It's a faction coming together, a good faction, and for Apollo to be under the wing of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, money. I can just see money. So I can't wait for that to roll out. I'm very pleased. Even though I didn't watch it, I think that is
It was a good show. It was a really solid show, and it ended really good too, because what they did, they ended on a segment, and I just wish that sometimes every once in a while we get an ending to a show with an actual wrestling match, but who knows, maybe one day. But we get the contract signing for the Rumble. Pierce goes out there, and let me tell you, as a fan and as a reporter on this stuff, they kind of got me on this one. They fooled me. This was really good writing, and I can't help to think that Heyman had a little bit to do with this, because it was just really sneaky. It was really conniving, just like Heyman handsy. So you can tell that in real life if he put some effort into this, because everyone knows that Heyman's such a good writer, but they're not using Heyman in that capacity, unfortunately. But
yes.
So we got Pierce. He goes out there. They changed the match now to a last man standing match at the Rumble. Pierce goes out there to go sign the paper. Reigns is sitting literally at the head of the table, literally, which is funny too, I thought. And that T-shirt that he's got, the head of the table, that's probably one of his better T-shirts he's ever had. Because I think, in my opinion, the Roman Reigns merchandise has always been subpar.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is good
But
merch for him.
Yeah.
So he's pissing off Roman. He's really playing to Roman's, like, okay, I don't have time for this bullshit kind of thing. And Pierce, he's like, he gets Roman to sign the shit, and then he's like, okay, I've been waiting for a while for you to do that. And he just kind of stumbles out of the ring, and he fakes an injury, and he turns around. And this was really interesting too, because I don't know if you saw on WWE's like social media today, they were posting pictures of Pierce when Pierce was actually wrestling back in the day. Yeah. So he's telling Reigns, he goes, and kind of like a nice little heel away too, like a little sting. He looks up at Reigns and he goes, oh, old injury's acting up. You know how that is. And he kind of just like, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
fucking And then he goes, it's also my power as an executive to make matches for when people aren't medically cleared to continue. So he goes, and with that being said, Kevin Owens comes out, who then signs the Royal Rumble. So we get Owens versus Reigns for the championship in a last man standing match at the Rumble. Fantastic. Reigns and Owens. I'm glad that they're doing this. It's so good. And Owens is the best Owens I've seen in a long time. He's finally in that good main event picture scene as the face. And a last man standing between these two. If they do this right, they'll tear the fucking house down.
Oh yeah. I mean, you remember back in 2016, Ambrose, Moxley, and Kevin Owens had a great last man standing match.
Yeah.
And that was at a Royal Rumble. So that's genius. To say, hey, I'm playing a little bit of a heel. I'm playing your game here.
Mm-hmm. It was good. It was good writing.
Bowing out.
They fooled me because I really did for a second, and honestly, that was me thinking like WWE has been so bad and so not so bad, but I say there have been certain aspects of WWE that have been so bad that it was almost that believable that Adam Pearce and Royal Rumble or Adam Pearce and Reigns that we were actually going to see that. It was almost that believable. It really was. And I was really, I was like kind of not necessarily disappointed, but like, okay, I understand they're trying to do the story, but is that really necessary? I was like, I'd rather see something better at the Royal Rumble. Well, this is honestly the best that I can think of for the Royal Rumble itself.
That's a swerve in itself.
Yeah.
That's good. I was hoping probably they would save that kind of match for WrestleMania. I mean, I think there's a lot of great stars on SmackDown who are really stepping up. And I think Raw needs to get on top of that. Because they got some good contenders on SmackDown. Some very good. And Kevin Owens is one of them that you can just see in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Cesaro now. Shinsuke Nakamura. You're looking at these guys, and now you're finally using them. This is the time I wish AJ Styles was still on SmackDown, because that gives him a little more competition. I don't think him going to Raw was the best idea, to be honest. But, you know.
It is what it is at this point.
It is what it is. It is what it is, and we can't really say much about it. He's making the best of it, but still, you know, SmackDown is superior. That's a good show.
It is. It's a solid show. That was a really, really, really good SmackDown.
Yeah.
SmackDown's just been continuing to get good again, and it's almost like to the point of like early 2000s SmackDown. I'm getting excited about SmackDown again to see what they're going to do. And it's like, you know, it almost is like Reigns is The Rock, you know, and you've got all this stuff. It's such a good SmackDown, and I don't know who's writing for Raw, but you need to get some advice and figure out what SmackDown's doing better, because Fox right now is kicking your ass up and down the street.
Yeah. Hey, Captain Now says, welcome to the best podcast on Twitch. We
Thank
really
you, Captain.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
That
and I appreciate
a big honor.
For the last 45 minutes or so, we've had those 10 viewers watching us. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight and talking
Thank you, folks.
SmackDown with us. But yeah, it's a solid SmackDown. It's good writing. It's very creative. It's clever. And it's unfortunate. Yes, they are using those, like we said, the new stars. They're building new stars. Like AEW, AEW fucking, they have a bunch of new stars to play with and build new stars, and they have that opportunity. But WWE now is building new stars with old stars because they've spent too long with the other shit, you know. So now this is the time. This is pandemic time. Freaking, you know, this is an opportunity to tell a different story with newer, like I said, not newer people, but fresher content with guys that are seasoned, should I say, and are really good at what they're doing. Fucking Roman Reigns, Apollo Crews, Cesaro, Shinsuke, really good. And Monday Night Raw is failing
now.
Failing because they're newer stars. Keith Lee took it up until right now, until Keith Lee to get good tonight with Sheamus. I mean, on Monday with Sheamus. Who else do they have? They're ruining Riddle. What else
Yeah.
are they gonna do there? And then they're relying on the old souls to help out. And don't get me wrong, I love Randy Orton, I love him, and I love Drew McIntyre, but that's the only appeal is Drew McIntyre, and you cannot put all your chicken, all that it all up into Drew. It doesn't work like that, because look what happens when Drew wasn't around. The whole thing went to chaos, and you put all your effort into Roman. They used to do that, but now they realize that that's not what they need to do with Roman. That they are putting a good amount of effort into him, but they're allowing other stories to be told.
Right. I just applaud them. I didn't even watch the show, and I probably may just watch it after this and just see.
Yeah.
That is a good, solid show. Who's Enter the Gamer Actual? Welcome to the end.
That's my other podcast. That must be one of our other guys working. Hey, thanks for watching late night tonight, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. We're about to wrap it up, actually.
They're on the West Coast, too. It's my other guys I work with, so
they're on the West?
Yeah, some of them right now. So some of them, they sometimes catch me late.
Why don't you just come back to the West? I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
Florida's your home. I think you want to stay more to the East.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be down there soon. We can do it one-on-one together.
Yeah.
But anyway,
tomorrow, the women's division, we're going to talk all about all of the women's stuff. I'm going to prepare all kinds of topics. So you guys tune in tomorrow. I think it would be probably smarter to bring that one.
Tomorrow.
Probably, yeah. So we'll talk a lot about all kinds of stuff. And I want to bring up, we didn't get to bring up too much tonight, but I want to bring up some of the stuff with AEW's women's division too, especially what they're doing with the NWA championship and stuff like that as well. We can touch on
my opinions.
Yeah,
you'll hear them tomorrow.
We can touch on it, but I mean, definitely the big focuses will be the women's. Just honestly, we can just go back from even, in my opinion, where things started to fall off was Ronda Rousey. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll talk with everything.
We can say that. We have a lot to talk about tomorrow, guys, and I think it's a can't miss show tomorrow. Very, very can't miss. A very good conversation of the last probably decade of women's wrestling leading up to the women's... We're really going to talk about the women's revolution, to the evolution, to whatever, and to where we are today. Yeah. And don't forget, we got a big show next week with Orton and Cena. Big topic. That's a huge topic. May have to split that one into two. And are we doing a Royal Rumble watch-along on the 31st, or...?
I think that's the plan, yeah. Probably do a watch-along. And then, of course, we'll probably just add that in. We could probably just do a review show on its own for that one.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But tomorrow night we'll talk about also our picks for the Women's Dusty Cup and also the Women's Royal Rumble too, which everyone we've already knows is, for me, is already Belair as well, but we'll talk about
Belair, baby.
Yeah.
Belair.
All right, y'all. That is it for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Skull, Captain, ETG guys, thanks for watching. Sarah, everyone for interacting with us tonight, keeping the chat alive. If there's any of you guys out there that want to know any other topics that you want us to see podcasts on, please send us messages, all that kind of stuff, and we will do them. But my name is AJ East Coast, and I have been your host. And
all right, y'all.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good one.
Tomorrow night. Good night, guys.